What is?
The girl like with waving her hand like
She's like,
possibly
Oh.
there.
hey.
Okay.
Hey everybody.
Hey.
Let me tweet this out before I say hey everybody. Hey everybody. Now I can say it.
Hey.
Welcome to bonus content.
Welcome to Boner Content.
Le Bonaire. I'm Alex, Tony Scott, and Nabishin are here.
Yep.
The family's back together.
You can see me for a brief time before I disappear to eat Chipotle.
That's true. That's fair enough. How you guys doing? How are you doing, Nabishin?
Fine.
How was your birthday?
It's okay. Just spent it with my friends on the weekend and spent the day with my family. So the actual day with my family. But other than that, it's been fine.
How did the NecoCon situation work out?
Well, NecoCon was in November.
Yeah. How did KatsuCon? I'm gonna keep trying different ones until I find the right one. Is
Okay.
KatsuCon the right one?
It's Katsuka, yes.
Okay. How did that situation work out?
You mean like the after part?
Yeah,
of that, or
the
during?
aftermath when we were like, I hope Nabishin's okay right now.
Oh, like during NecoCon, there was actually like someone pulled a fire alarm because someone I think one of the main
Children.
cafes caught on fires or something like that. I
Shit.
can't remember.
Oh, so there was actual fire?
Well, I don't think it was like a big fire, but there was a fire. The fire
Okay.
department came by and everything. So that was it was probably like 15 degrees at that time. So they had to put everyone outside the hotel building, and everyone's like pretty much scantily clad or wearing nothing at all. So that was pretty
Nothing at
bad.
all.
Yeah.
What kind of conventions are you going to?
And this is
Animals.
the Gaylord Hotel, so like that's a pretty big hotel. So like,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
so you're talking about maybe over 1,000 people, maybe more than that.
I had never been there until this weekend.
Yeah, now both of you were there in the past week or two.
Yeah. Yeah, that place is very nice. I'll say it, but it's humongous.
Other things that happen. So pretty much like as soon as I went to Mark and Katie, they was like, "Hey, you want to be Jack Skeleton?" I'm like, "Sure, why? I don't care." And that was obviously a big hit. Girls like the Jack Skeleton, so it's like a lot of pictures, a lot of photos and stuff like that. So
You look good.
yeah, thank you. We're wearing a mask all day. Like I don't think I've worn a mask like over my face for like a long period of time since I was since I was a kid. Like probably I don't even think I really wore a mask like, over my face for that long.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a weird thing by being the type of person I am now, and like the shit that goes through my head, and it's like, wow, this is like really suffocating and really like uh almost anxiety inducing. So it's like I can barely breathe. And when I am breathing, it's getting super hot in this mask, so like it's getting like spit and like, all the nasties in front of my face. And I'm just like my chin is always wet.
Yeah.
It's weird and
Yeah.
gross.
Yep.
It just like getting
You're not wearing that mask right.
Yeah.
You're supposed
I mean,
to
like
be
I have a big
padding.
head, and like it was pretty much like almost on my face.
Yeah, but you're supposed to have padding for all that stuff.
There was like
Yes, it makes it a little bit warmer. However, it takes away all the grossness.
Hey man, this is a budget mask. You got time
Alex,
for
look.
padding. I see. Okay. I don't want to talk about it.
He painted a picture of me. Oh, senpai.
So furious right now.
What happened?
We'll talk about it in games.
All right. Will you be my muse?
Were you like taking breaks, taking off the mask and everything regularly?
well, like that's the thing. Like Jack is so popular. Like literally, like like almost like probably every 3 minutes, I got stopped for taking a picture or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like like when stuff got like when I was feeling like really like I have to take this off. That's usually when like a little kid comes by like I want to see you. And I can't just I play my part. I kneel down to them. I say hi. I give them like my little finger wave or whatever, and they really appreciate that, or they get really scared by that. So that was always really cute. But like that was just like a little thing. I just like, that's a weird thing. Just like getting used to that. And like there was like a Disney photo shoot. I took a picture next to a Sora and an Oogie Boogie. And then like Of course, the clothes didn't really fit me, right? Because they were in Mark size and like a lot of fat jokes, by the way, which is like not really like accurate thing. Like I'm like my neck's thicker than Mark, and like I have like a bigger build than Mark has, so like uh not that I'm not saying like I'm against them making fun of me, because like it was fun. It was all good times. So it was like, oh, that was like, because I was making fun of myself, like, man, like I could barely sit down with Mark's clothes on, and it's like, that's funny.
I think it's more because you're jacked.
Yeah, super swole.
Mark's super skinny, judging off the pictures of him. Like he looks like you could break him in half with like a strong gust of wind.
Oh, please. But it's just like it's like stuff like that. Like I couldn't like put Mark's dress shirt on like the final button around my neck, because like my neck was just too wide. And I was like, ugh. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's weird.
I have a wide neck as well, so anytime I wear Ethan's dress shirts, which is already a mess, it's nothing doing, not happening.
I just saw something this week too. Something dumb, something really dumb. Like there's something you could put under your chin, and like it'd get rid of like your extra chin or something bullshit like that. Like I don't know. Like I saw
Have
some
we finally
commercial.
found the solution to my problem?
Yeah, I saw
Alex,
something.
you don't
sometime.
have two chins, you have no chin.
Yeah,
Zero
could I
chin.
grow a chin? Is it like a chia pet where I just like brush it on the
It's
bottom
like
of my
something
face
you
and
put.
put water on it?
It's something like you put under your chin, and like it gets rid of that fat that's under your chin. So like you can't do like the multiple chin thing like you and Kay can do so well. Like it's I don't know. It's something weird. That's all. Anyway,
Yeah.
but pretty much I left my clothes, my actual clothes, at the house, at their house in Virginia. We went there, came back, car broke down, got the tow truck coming. They towed the car. We can't have, like when they're in the car, when they're towing the car, because of liability, so all that stuff. Like, you can't like have someone,
In the car, yeah.
yeah, while you do that. So that was like maybe like a good 15 minutes outside, and wearing that very thinly dressed Jack Skellington costume. So that was like a weird thing. And then like there was a whole situation where it's like like by note, like a tow truck driver can only take one person with them legally, and it's like if you take like more than one person, it's like maybe like, well, he could take two people, but that would be like another $25. But like it's only usually just two people in general. So like there's three of us there, so like we had to squeeze in there. So I was like, well, like what would happen if like there's a guy with his family? Like that's a shitty situation.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you go,
rough.
yeah. So but he dropped the car off. He was nice enough to drop us off at McDonald's. He wasn't even supposed to do that, but he was like, "Yeah, you guys look weird, so I'll just drop you off." So we don't have to worry
okay.
about that. And so we sat in McDonald's for like about 2 hours, waiting for Mark's parents to come pick us up. And like we gotten to the point now, me, Mark, and Kate, that it's funny now, because like we just think about the situation now, so it's funny. But like at the moment, it was like uber depressing and shit like that. So,
Yeah.
It was like you had flashbacks to Indus Fest all over again.
I mean, that wasn't depressing. That was just like, oh, I have an out, I'll take the out.
That was a shitty situation.
Yeah, that was just shitty.
Yeah, it kind of was, actually. I'm thinking about it.
It was pretty depressing.
It turned out being real shitty for everybody.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you guys got home all right. Good spirits, hopefully, since then. Sounds like so.
Yeah, we're pretty much over it now. Mark has to pay a lot for that car, but like, cause like the whole plan of going there was like, oh, we're just gonna go there and not spend any money, like by getting a room or whatever, because like we never really go into like any of the panels or go into the vendor room or anything like that. So it's like we'll just go there, we'll just like buy a parking space, just stay like outside the convention, take pictures or whatever, and then we'll just leave. And it's like, oh, they'll be like saving like so much money, and then like you have to spend all that money that he was trying to save just to get the car and everything. So that was a really bad situation for him. But like yeah, other than that, it was an okay adventure. I had a good time.
Yeah, as long as you had a good time. Anything else happened this week? You transferred stores, it looked like.
Yeah, don't work at the store I work at anymore. I'm transferred to another store, which is more inconvenient. That's like 30 minutes away. Rather than like the 3 minutes away where my store is from where my house is right now.
Mhm.
So like that's probably the only like real negative about it. And like working with some of the people that I actually like my friend Alan, the person I talked to, like who always tries to tell me to get Monster Hunter or Final Fantasy Explorers. I'm like no, but like you talk about other shit, so like
Yeah, we can fill that void for you. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's cool.
But like I'll probably still be there often. Like it's like I said, it's a food line right by my house, so like I'll still see people there often. But like man, like talk about like getting out almost at the right time. It's like because like I said, like that place just suddenly explode just one day, and it's just been like the last few days. It's just been like just more commentary and more shit just about like everything's just dire there, and it's like just really depressing. This is a real downer to even be there anymore because everyone just hates each other,
Jeez.
and it's just like I said, like either the situation was going to be if I had stayed there, it was um like everything was pretty much stay the same, and it just be like like she'll get like a few people, but I would still be miserable as far as the way that she works because like the way she orders and like everything's not right, and it's just like this pain in the ass, and it's just like all that stuff. So I was like, no, I can't do that. Or they would fire her, or she would quit because she's fed up with it as well, and they will make me manager again, and I'll make me the manager again. I'm like, no, I don't want that either. So yeah, so.
Different hoops to jump through, but hopefully ones that are less stressful, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. So
All right. Well, hopefully it works out. Have you worked at the new place yet?
I start tomorrow in the morning. So let's see how that's like. And it's already like like I went there. Like 2 days ago just to see it's gonna be awkward just me just popping up to say hi. I'm working here now, so I was gonna go there early, introduce myself to the manager and everything, and hopefully get my grounds there, like find out what she wants from me and everything like that. And it turns out the manager's she's gone for 6 weeks. So it's like, oh, okay. So, but I talked to the store manager there, Miss Spencer, who the one who got me in there, the one I knew, and like she was just telling me like, hey, I'm happy you're here because like I need like this get this stuff ready, and like I knew that she needed me, so it was like, and I know she appreciates me, so it's like I could feed off of that when I'm there, because like I'm a person who likes being the light in their darkness, I guess you could say, and like being someone to depend on, and when I do that, I feel good about the stuff I do. So
yeah, I feel like you're actually helping.
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
But other than that, I don't think there's much of anything else. Everything else has been almost uneventful, really. Like I haven't played anything, which is not exactly true, but it's kind of true at the same time. But that's just me right now.
When's your heart out tonight? Just so we know.
When it's
you gotta go.
Probably around 7.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. That shouldn't be an issue, hopefully. Tony, anything happen for you this week?
Let's see. Anything interesting? I worked a lot.
I see you a lot now. It's weird.
It is weird.
It's also weird because like we play games together a lot.
Kind of.
And now I see you in person a lot, and then we do this every week.
Yeah, the only thing is we don't hang out outside of work yet.
Yet, until we have to now start playing games together in a different way.
Yeah.
In a more destructive way.
It's all right. I'll be your Dan Avidan.
The not so grump to I will be very grumpy. I will tell you that much.
Exactly. Let's see. I don't know. I was at work a lot, and then other than that, I've kind of just been chilling. I'm trying to think of anything interesting that happened this week, and there's just nothing there.
All right, that's fair. Doesn't have to be eventful.
No, I played a lot of video game, singular.
Yeah, just one.
Just one.
Are you sure you aren't like obsessive compulsive?
I mean, I'm kind of almost finished with that game now, so it's close enough to Monster Hunter that yeah.
It has been like 9 days since you got that game.
Let me check my playtime. Hold up. By the way, check out that hot 3DS though.
Still good.
Still good.
Still
even
haven't
now.
played that game though.
Nope.
Like you.
This is very important.
Also, Deadpool, just to mention. It's good.
Is it good?
I really liked it a lot, actually.
Yeah, Ethan and my brother really liked it, and they're like, "You need to see it." And I'm like, "I know, I don't want to go
Oh,
alone."
Deadpool. Yeah, people keep telling me that it's good.
Maybe Evan will hit me up and say, "Hey, you want to go see Deadpool?"
You want to go see Deadpool, Alex?
That's a bromance.
It
Dude.
depends on
Maybe
when.
the three of us can hit Evan up, and then Evan will say no.
So
That's true. He would probably.
we're
say
looking
no.
at 55 or 51 hours.
That seems like a lot less than I thought it would be, considering you played 74 hours of Destiny in 1 week.
Yeah, well, I mean, this game is not like
3DS.
I have a
yeah,
job
exactly. And I have a job.
Yeah, it's true.
Anything else interesting that happened? I guess not. Nothing memorable. So
How was your?
I'm
week,
sure there's
Scott?
like something that happened and just nothing. I just don't remember it.
nothing. Like I said, it doesn't have to be eventful.
Yeah.
Scott, anything cool happen? Did you get up to anything? Anything you wanna
Just
talk about?
just what I talked to you about earlier. I just went to Sean's wrestling match yesterday.
Did he win? Is that what you win? Do you win in wrestling? I don't understand.
Yeah, he won.
Okay. Is he like a tank now? Does he like hurt people physically? Is he terrifying? Could he beat me up?
Well, duh.
Yeah, for
There's
sure, duh.
real easy to beat you up.
I
I don't
know.
lie.
I mean, yeah, I don't aspire to be not a pushover. So.
Yeah, so we won, and then we went to the bar, which is my least favorite part of this is going to the bar, because it's just the River Hill Grill, which is pretty much filled with old people. When I say old people, I mean 50 plus.
Oh my
Man,
god.
50's old now.
50.
I associate like the 65 senior retired to like 90 old, like in that range.
I just
And then-
remember being like really surprised yesterday because I was asking Scott. I was like, Scott, where are you? And he was like, at the River Hill Grill drinking. And I was like,
It's like,
I was like,
to fucking do
whoa.
something with all those old people there.
Yeah, so basically, that is what they do there. They sit down, they order a couple of drinks, and they talk for a very long time. About nothing that's actually new, by the way. They're just drunk. So I was like, joining in is the only way to make that time pass any quicker. It is that part alone is like the main reason why I avoid going to his matches with them, and I either take my own car or opt for just counties and states
Yeah.
for where that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Tony was just like, I'm just so proud he's out.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's just hanging out.
He was doing his thing. Making the moves on all the ladies, you know.
There was none there.
Some men.
It was all old men.
It was.
Well, you know, I'm glad that you saw the outside of Final Fantasy Explorers, since we went down that dark rabbit hole. It's also worth noting I'm using a different microphone than I have been for the past few months, because that could be the source of my weird static troubles.
Weird.
But we'll find out. I recorded 2 hours of MupX this morning without any issues. But
Hey, you have some static going on right now, Alex.
don't fucking don't. I had a pretty good week. I did.
Okay, tell me about it.
I did some cool stuff this week.
Yeah, I was going to do cool stuff, and then I was like,
I worked a whole lot. I worked like every day this week except for one day, which I took off because I haven't been sleeping very well or at all for the most
Yep.
part. And then I went to MagFest, Music and Gaming Festival,
yeah.
on Friday night with my friend Chris.
Did you go on Saturday too?
No, I couldn't.
Oh,
'cause I
okay. So you
worked
only went for
Saturday
one night?
Yeah, I was gonna go today, but then all the podcasts fell in today.
Right.
And I worked Saturday night, and at the time I thought I had this show as well, so I figured I could go earlier in the day and then come back, but it didn't work out. Sounds like I
see.
didn't miss too much. Which
How far is it from you?
it's
Like
about
40 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Like if there's no traffic, it's 30. Like on the way back from there.
Yeah, I had to pick someone up from that hotel at one point.
Yeah, I'd never been to the National Harbor.
It's really nice.
It's very nice. The
It's
Ferris
really
wheel there is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's like weird because no one really like knows it's there,
Yeah, it's very much.
and then it's just
secluded.
like really weird and touristy and nice and stuff.
Yeah, it's like a very un-Maryland part of Maryland.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's very like insular. It's kind of like by itself, just a bunch of hotels and the Gaylord Hotel and Convention Center. So I went there with Chris. We got there around like 8:10. Then we had to fucking find parking, which was the worst nightmare I've ever experienced in my life.
Yeah, I never had to park there.
It was rough, but we managed to get a space in the Gaylord Hotel parking garage. So
That's good.
it was close by. And then I went and met up with Jarrett, our good friend Jarrett Green, and I hugged him and I told him I loved him.
Yep.
And I just showed up there. It was apparently some event at a bar across the street from the hotel for YouTubers. I don't know. He was trying to explain it to me, but he didn't understand because he didn't find out that it was an event until he got there. Because he was just going there to get a drink with the people that he went there with. And it was an open bar. So I'm like, all right, time to gussy up before tonight because I'm going to need it. So got a little tipsy, hung out with Jarrett for a little bit. Then I went and got some food with Chris, and then we went and saw the Ninja Sex Party concert, which they played with Tupperware Remix Party, who are also super awesome. And
Is Chris a fan of Ninja Sex Party?
yes, he's a huge fan. I got him into Game Grumps and by extension Ninja Sex Party. So he's he loves it.
And the star bombs and stuff.
And the Star Bombs, yeah. He started with Star Bomb, kind of like me, and then he got into that. But yeah, he tells me when he's an architect, so when he's like drawing up plans, he just listens to NSP playlist on repeat. So I am also a casual fan of Tupperware Remix Party. I like some of their stuff. Mostly the stuff that they do with Ninja Sex Party. It is worth noting that this was live streamed on MagFest's Twitch channel, and you can go watch the archive of it, which I recommend to everybody because it was like an incredible performance. Like, it was fantastic. There were 5,000 people in this ballroom. Just like, it was packed to the point where they weren't letting anyone else in, which I've never like been to a music event, especially like something smaller like MagFest, where that's been the case. So that was cool. And we were not too far back from the front. And so yeah, the Tupperware Remix Party did a few songs. Then Ninja Sex Party came on and they played together. They did a few Ninja Sex Party songs together, and then they did some stuff off of the cover album that they did together, which comes out in March. They did Everybody Wants to Rule the World and Take on Me. And then they did the Hit, which is a Tupperware Remix Party song featuring Ninja Sex Party, which is also really cool. Then they were like selling merch outside. I went and I got a shirt, which I'm wearing right now. Then they came out. Ninja Sex Party came out and said hi to some people, and I went up and I talked to them, and I told them that I loved them, and then Dan said that he loved me too, and I tried not to cry, and I held it in. And then we took pictures together. Except, so I said to Dan, like, hey, can, the four of us, Chris, myself, and then Brian and Dan take a picture together, and then can we take a selfie together, just the two of us? He's like, yeah, sure. And then we took that picture together, and then I held up my phone to take the picture together, and Brian's like, this is the one that you wanted me in, right? And then he just leaned his face in front of my phone, and I just took like 14 pictures of his eye. Because I was like, no, let me keep taking it. And Dan was like,
You should have just been like, no, I just wanted your PhD in this picture.
I'll send one of the pictures to you guys because you'll get a kick out of it. And Dan was like, oh, fuck you, Brian. And then we took a selfie together, but it came out all blurry because my hands were trembling, as you could imagine. But yeah. Then I hugged him, and I got a face full of Jufro.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on my merry way. It was very, very nice. Yeah, it was awesome. I'm still...
That's an eye.
That is totally an eye. Yeah, it was super cool. And Chris was like, "Hey, I recently broke up with my girlfriend, and you guys really like your music really is awesome, and it helped me get through it." And Brian was like, "It's okay that you broke up with your girlfriend." And I just thought that was the funniest thing. So yeah, there you go. That was my weird MagFest evening, which was awesome. They did a signing the day after, and Tony, did you mean to text that to us?
Yep, totally did.
Okay.
That's one of the responses that it suggested.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck is they did a signing on Saturday, yesterday, which was the one thing that I wanted to go to because I have the 2 Ninja Sex Party albums, the first 2 that aren't signed, and I wanted to get those.
Did you hear about their new one?
Yeah.
Did you see the promo at the beginning of Super Mario Maker?
I watched the video that they put up on their channel, which I think is the same one.
Probably the same one. Yeah, to pre-order it.
Yeah, pre-order.
Yeah.
You get a poster and they'll sign it. They talked about it at the show as well.
Oh, okay.
The music video for Take On Me drops on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Which they announced at the live show. But yeah, I have those 2 albums. I want to get that signed, but they weren't apparent. They only let 200 people in out of like a crowd of like 800 plus that was waiting in line, and they weren't taking any pictures or doing anything like that.
So yeah, you were definitely not getting in that.
Did you find Barry?
I did. I saw Barry go to the bathroom.
Oh, perfect. Great time to see him.
It was funny because it was right before the concert, and Chris and I were making our way over to the concert hall, and then like some guy like moved past us. I'm like, oh, excuse me, and then he's like, yeah, sorry, and then I looked at his face. I'm like, that's Barry, and then he went into the bathroom. I'm like, Chris, I think that was Barry. He's like, what?
You should have just like ran up and stopped him and been like, you monster, and then walked away.
I just screamed, put that in when he went into the bathroom, so I figured he probably got it.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, it was cool. It was a very great night. It was good to meet them. I'm just filling in this collection of people I really respect and now have met. So
we'll probably see more of them at PAX. So
probably. I don't know if they're playing PAX East this year, but they did last year. So. But yeah, it was crazy. Like that was like the craziest concert. Like they said during the show that was the biggest crowd that Ninja Sex Party had ever played to. And it was nuts. There was like the one guy in a banana outfit that got called out in the crowd, and then
of course
the crowd started chanting banana.
There's always that one guy in a banana outfit.
Yeah, that's true.
Someday it'll be you.
I can only dream.
I'll get you a banana outfit. You just have to wear it.
Yeah, it's the wearing it part.
I know.
Sounds too hot. In multiple ways.
The idea is that you don't wear anything under it.
Okay.
And then everyone's like, are you just a banana right now? And then you're like,
yep.
Yeah.
I bet I would chafe a lot, though. That's the thing. Yeah, it was awesome.
Good.
I sent you guys the pictures. They're on. I posted them on Twitter as well to anyone who's watching or listening that wants to see them. So, yeah, it was a great night. That was my week, though. You guys want to get the show cracking?
Yeah. Weird black box showed up in my mailbox.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Was it full of government
Paper.
secrets?
Paper.
Oh, paper.
Yep.
Okay. That's weird.
I mean,
I mean,
asked
the paper.
for it to show
The
up.
paper had your name on it,
Yeah.
but that is weird though.
Super
Showed up on
weird.
Black Box. I'm surprised the turnaround was so quick for those. I didn't think
It wasn't supposed to show up for another 3 days.
Okay, it's good. Move's
Yeah.
good. You can see the quality there. It's good.
Yeah.
You guys ready to start recording? Skit. Oh, Scott, I met somebody whose name was Skit.
Wait, what? Really?
Yes. You gotta remind me a little bit of you too.
I met someone at work whose name is Storm, and I had flashbacks to when you wanted to be called Storm, and I was glad that you didn't do it.
Yeah, it's too much of a hassle with health insurance.
Yeah.
I tell you, calling insurance companies and telling them that you're legally changing your name to
You know,
Storm.
I feel like it's getting a little wet outside. Some might say stormy.
No, no one would say that. Tony, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. On one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I was in this call and ready before you today.
No, I was in the call
And you were muted and
because
you
I
were
was eating
gone,
Jimmy John's. Like, what
and-
did you want from
And
me?
I joined and I was
Ah,
like, hey girl, and
My
you're
track's
like,
gonna
"Wait
be
a minute."
a second late on that record button. I wasn't that ready.
That's fine. If you were ready enough, I'll figure it out. Yeah, there were just like 5 shots of this eyeball in my phone. And then there's this blurry picture.
Did you add him his picture?
What?
Did you add him his picture?
Yes. Not Brian, because
That's what I meant.
I didn't
Wow.
tweet any of the eyeball pictures.
You should tweet
I
Brian.
should.
You should like tweet it and be like, hey, check out this awesome selfie that Dan and I took.
You should just say we took so many great selfies and then post all of those pictures.
All right, I'm tweeting it right now.
Alright. I'm glad that we took time to do this.
Man, BWECT is great at selfies, and I'm gonna put all 4 of these pictures in here.
Do you order and I have a PhD shirt yet?
No,
Are you going to?
I might. I have to
But the problem is you don't
Micromanage
have a
some money.
PhD.
a little bit.
You know who does have a PhD though?
Brian Wecht. He said
PhD.
that 4 times in the short amount of time that we were taking.
There's a shoulder review. And
Yeah, well, that was
Dan-
that was the first one when he was getting in there. So he leaned down and just kind of laid there horizontally. Anybody need to get any water or anything before we start?
I'm gonna eat food. 'Cause
Like,
I haven't done that yet today.
now when we're starting the show?
Yep. See, I got this bag.
Do you want us to wait or do you want us to just go?
I mean, it's gonna take me a little bit to eat food.
Yeah, I mean,
How about you do it during first break, like me, because that's what I'm doing during.
But
first
Scott,
break.
it takes me like 17 times longer to eat food than it takes you.
it's true. Scott doesn't actually chew, I don't think.
Yeah, it's okay. It'll be like you'll never notice. It's fine.
All right,
Nah,
well,
I
do
just have
this,
3 times the
and then
teeth
I'll come
of
back
a
later.
human.
I'll just do you last in the order of people.
You're gonna
talking
do me
about games.
last? Wow. I'm glad to know that I'm last priority.
Listen, that's what
You are last priority.
so you can eat.
All right, whatever, nerd.
Just wait until I intro everybody. 'Cause that way you'll be able to say hello in whatever tone of voice that you want to say it in.
I'm like mildly offended that you think that all I know how to say is hello.
That's all I know how to say.
That's all Scott knows how to say. So, let's do this. As long as everybody's ready. It is Sunday, February 21st, 2016, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions podcast. I'm Alex O'Neill, and with me this week, I have Scott Cuthier.
Not actually here.
Not really, for real, though. Tony Horvath is here.
Hello.
See? It's the only word you know how to say. People won't get that, but that's fine.
It's all right.
And Brian Nabashin Jackson is here.
You're supposed to say senpai after that.
Did you, Nabashin, did you listen to last week's show?
Yes.
Did you enjoy Barrett trying to step up to the plate of your creative intros?
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. He
I wanted to know that
he hoped
more.
that you would. So
Yes.
the strong bad one was good. Welcome back, Nabashin.
Thank you.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
I tried to wish you as many social media happy birthdays as I could muster.
I actually got a lot more than I've ever gotten.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people tweeting at you. I
We're like
appreciate
midway
it.
through birthday season on Irrational Passions right
Yeah,
now.
Tony's birthday is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then yours is in like a month.
Yes. And Scott's is until like June or something.
Whatever.
Uh,
Scott's birthday is essentially tomorrow.
this is Irrational Passion's birthday, like the birthday solstice.
Yeah.
We were between birthdays. Yeah, I'm glad people were tweeting at you. Happy birthday, the big 3-0. How you feeling?
Feel good.
Yeah, good. I met a 36-year-old man this week that has done more in his life than I do in like half of my life combined. He does more every day, I should say.
As Taylor Swift might say, are you feeling 30?
Yeah, that's what she would say.
That's what she would say in this situation.
I mean, whatever works. We have a good show for you guys and gals and folks and fellas. As always, thank you for that image. No,
I meant to say this is how Scott eats lifespan. I forgot.
Oh yeah, that's good. Homer Simpson just swallowing a donut or an eclair?
Eclair.
Something. Okay, I got there. We got some video games to talk about. There's some news to talk about. We have a Silver PR voicemail. The whole shebang, and the whole family's here. Hopefully for the whole show. Don't know how long we're going to run. Hopefully it won't be too crazy. We'll say last time, since it'll be over by the time we record next, we are selling an Irrational Passions t-shirt. It is available on teespring.com/IrrationalPod. And it is available through the 25th. So I believe that is Thursday.
Yeah, due to Alex's constant advertising on Twitter, we've
I
sold
haven't
like
tweeted about
7,000 so far. We've only got about 4 left, so step up to the plate, guys.
I
Come on.
haven't tweeted about it since like last Tuesday, so chill. But yeah, I mean it's coming to a close. We've sold enough so that they will ship, so you can guarantee you'll get one. They'll come sometime in March, from what I understand. Yeah, it goes to support us, and it'll help me figure out whatever fucking situation is going on with my equipment, and hopefully that'll be all settled. I'm using a different microphone now, so hopefully there won't be any static in my audio track this week.
Is it Evans?
I don't know, actually, because him and I just have 2 of the same microphones, so it could be his, could be mine. But there is another microphone in my glass case over there, so yeah, so hopefully that's all fixed. Maybe it was the mic. If it was, I'll be pissed because that mic was supposed to be like the step up from the one that I'm using right now. But either or, we'll find out. Yeah, so thank you to everyone who's bought a shirt. We really appreciate it. The link will be in the description for this, and it's also on Twitter, as Tony is very angrily saying.
I'm not angry about it.
And yeah, I just really appreciate everyone that's taking the time to pick one up. We really love you guys and are super happy to see the support.
My offer stands. You will get hugs if you wear that shirt in my presence.
Absolutely. Tony and I will be at both PAX East and Kinda Funny Live 2 this year. So if you see us and you're wearing that shirt, we will hug you.
We might hug the shit out of you, and it would be real messy.
It might also be without warning.
Yeah. I would say it's likely that there won't be.
Sorry, I mean, at that point, it's consensual. You were asking for it. It's not rape if they wear our shirt.
Okay.
But I mean, it's also not going to be rape anyway.
Oh my god.
Already gonna have to edit this show a whole bunch. To our video.
Nah,
viewers.
that tweet is gold.
There'll be no sexual contact there.
Yeah, that tweet is gold. Thank you, Novishin. There's a whole thing.
That was 4 hours ago. I was like, oh, that's timely.
Yeah, it is. There's a whole thing, sub-conversation going on that carried over from the bonus content. So if you're listening to the audio version of this, go check out the bonus content, youtube.com/IrrationalPassions. Speaking of which, to finish up housekeeping, Sly 2 will be done on Wednesday. My Sly 2 Let's Play.
Are we ready to announce the next game?
I think it's time to officially recognize Omega Quintet. As the volunteer for tribute. That is the first Alex and Tony play.
Yep.
So
we're gonna play a whole lot of JRPG. Tell you what,
it's gonna be
something.
It could be great because it's a bad game.
Yeah.
And we'll have fun with it. Or
it could be a good game. We don't know yet.
No, it's not. or 2 be terrible because it's a bad game and we're not gonna have any fun.
I mean, at that point, we could just switch to Mega Dimension Neptunia 7 and just listen to that one character, Neptune, say like a kangaroo over and over and over again.
Like
until
a
we die.
kangaroo.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's God. What an
I was
excitement.
like physically upset that Justin got so excited when I said that to him. He was like, "I know, I was hoping that she said that." That was a thing that happened.
We also, or I did, I recorded a new episode of Malicious Underground Podcast X today. We talked about Batum, which is probably a show you shouldn't watch, unfortunately.
The manga's actually not bad. I read that and then I stopped, but it's all right.
Yeah, it's just got some gross female character.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That all of us were very upset about. But we talked about it on MUP, and we also talked about some other stuff like Yu-Gi-Oh!
What was it?
5Ds.
I'm sorry.
Batum.
Oh, I know that.
BT0 or OOOOM exclamation mark. It's a cool concept. It's like about this guy who gets teleported to this island with a bunch of other people.
If you die in the game, you die for real.
Where it's like a
Because the
real
game
life,
is real.
It's a real life version of this video game Batum. But like the game is kind of more like a tactical, stealthy action game where you have to use different kinds of bombs to kill your opponents. So it like turns it to be this kind of interesting chess game between all these different people on this island. So cool concept.
Sword Art Online, but better if I were Greg Blaney.
I don't know how Greg would feel about this. We spent a lot of time
I don't know.
speculating how he would feel about it, which turned into the title of the show. Which the title of the show ended up being an abbreviation of an interpretation of what would Jesus do, but what would Greg think of this anime? Which we worked out to abbreviate to WWG hentai. Which it was. What would Greg have even thought of this anime, or something like that?
That's remarkably clever.
It was hilarious.
I just want to point that out real quick. That was way better than I thought it was going to be.
So, yeah, it was whatever. It'll be out. That episode will be up soon. Hopefully, Greg's still working on catching up on editing this podcast, but I'm helping him out with it now. So, but MopX presses on. There's a video version out of it on my personal YouTube channel, which is just Alfighter27 that you can go watch now if you'd like. That's it. That's all the housekeeping. Look out for Omega Quintet with starring Tony Horvath and me, a very depressed Alex O'Neill. Yeah, probably starting sometime in March. So.
I just want to put a quick disclaimer out there that I don't know anything about this game either. I just like to go into things blindly optimistic.
I mean, I'm typically optimistic, but that one video we watched about this fucking game makes it look terrible. So, we'll see. We will find out. That's it. That's all the housekeeping I have for you guys. Wish Tony a happy birthday tomorrow, Monday. Or if you're listening to the audio version of this,
Yesterday.
Just wish him a belated happy birthday.
Hey.
Happy early birthday, Tony.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, Nabishin, Scott told us last week that you were supposed to say you're 30 years young now. That's right.
Sure.
You did say that. That is a direct Scott quote.
I didn't say that we should be saying it.
It's just that's like the custom. Say 30 years young. From that point, like 31 years young, 32 years young.
I mean, it doesn't matter. 30's not middle age anymore. It's 40. So
yeah,
it's all right.
Yeah, exactly.
It was more of a joke. I totally forget the context for it, though.
It's all right. Barrett was saying some weird shit, so don't worry.
It's all right, guys. Only 10 more years until Noption has his midlife crisis and starts playing all these weird video games.
You mean until he starts playing multiplayer games, namely Call of Duty 4?
He'll be like, he's just
Just
like,
like,
get
I'll go
super
all
into
the way
Destiny
Call of
10.
Duty 4 20 years later.
Yep, Call of Duty 4 20 years later.
Call of Duty 420 years later. That will be a video
I
series.
missed out on so much.
Yeah, we'll be recording Irrational Passions Podcast episode 1063.
Should've
It
been
won't
playing
be
it
that
smart.
far.
Bullshit like that.
In 10 years, we only do 500 episodes. So,
Oh, so we'll be, what, 700 and something?
yeah.
Yeah.
God, that sounds like so many. Let's talk about video games. Nabishin, you didn't play anything this week, apparently.
No, no.
You said that's not necessarily true.
I mean, like, I still do Smash Brothers, Mark and Katie.
Mm-hmm.
I got Street Fighter 5, but that's not really a game yet, so can't really say.
Yeah, there's a lot missing from SF5.
Yep, that's
It's good for what it is, though. I really enjoy playing what it is as a fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
That's still fun and entertaining, but the online's kind of busted.
Yeah.
And
I'm picking that up very soon, option, so we'll be able to fight each other.
sweet.
Yeah. I
So
think
I have to also either buy a fight stick because I can't play with a controller anymore, or buy this weird thing that Best Buy has for $60 that makes it so I can use my Xbox 360 fight stick on my PS4.
Oh, that. How about
Yeah.
don't you have something for that? But never mind. Sorry.
No, there's apparently this weird USB looking thing that you can plug in, and then plug whatever fight stick you have into the back of it, and it just makes it work. Apparently, it works for all types of controllers to make them work on a PS4.
So it was just Xbox exclusive. Wasn't like you couldn't switch between the two systems.
The fight stick that I have was sent to me as a review.
Right, I remember that.
Review fight stick, and it is specifically Xbox 360. I mean, it's easy to it's built to be easy to mod it, but I just don't have the know-how. I need to tweet at Jason and be like, Jason, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah, sure. Jason will be able to help. Whatever it is, he probably knows something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure we will talk probably more extensively about Street Fighter V in our Milsec segment, because Silver PR called in to talk about it. He's been playing a lot of it. So
Silver PR, if you're listening, earlier this week I told you to win one for me. I got to know if you win that game or not.
I believe it was Silver PR's birthday this past week as well.
Really?
Birthday? If it was, I didn't know.
No, or was it not?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. He'll mention it, I'm sure.
Why don't you fucking Facebook friend us, Silver? It's been like 2 years.
Yeah, it's true. Like, why are we not real friends?
I don't even know what you look like, dude. Seriously.
I know what his kid looks like because he emailed us that picture of Mini PR, but
Then Silver just randomly DMs us hey guys, I'm showing up for Extra Life this year, and we're
know
like,
what his name
oh shit!
yeah, what if he just shows up at my house?
Shows up with a fight stick in the rain.
We'll have him. Of course, it's in the rain. It
Yeah.
wasn't raining before he got there, but it starts raining when he gets there. We'll just
Fighter.
do it.
Yeah.
We'll have him in a corner playing Street Fighter all through
The
our floor.
entire time.
I feel
Now,
like,
you
it's
played
a
the Division,
bit of a
right?
trek.
Just to see how I would feel about that. See if there's anything I will like. I gave it a good maybe 20 minutes just to see how it felt, and I still don't really like Ubisoft's third-person games. It doesn't feel right to me. So
Yeah, I when I played it, I put a scope on my gun, which let me go into first person, and that was great.
Yeah. I saw that you pre-ordered Far Cry Primal. I'm very curious to see what you think of that when it comes out.
yeah, it was partially because my friends are excited for it and they're having troubles right now because of the whole car situation. So I was being a good friend and just bought it for them. So they could game share it with me. But yeah, I'm too good of a fucking friend.
You are like the best friend. What we did for your birthday was just making sure a lot of people said happy birthday to you, and outside of that we don't do shit for you, and God doesn't make us feel like horrible human garbage.
Yeah, I mean they took me out. It was the kind of way we were playing them, and like I said, they had enough stress with the car and everything like that. So I was like, oh, let's get them something nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is very sweet.
And I bought them the Smash Brothers characters too. So
yeah, that's right, because they're too lazy to ever do anything.
I never said that.
I know. I misquoted you on purpose. If you're listening to this, Mark, I'm talking to you.
He said he started listening again too, so I gotta hear back from that, you ass.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to get Mark's commentary on the bullshit garbage that we say out loud. I did
Fire hydrant.
Fire hydrant. Yeah, fire extinguisher. Is it?
Oh, the extinguisher.
It's extinguisher. It's great that as long as we don't actually know what it is, I think that that makes it work. But yeah, I tweeted Mark, when I said I did. I hope things are looking good or getting better.
I had a weird thought.
Yeah, sure.
Can we, at the next Extra Life, can we have a fog machine?
No. No.
I just want to constantly tell Troll while he's running the stream to turn it on.
No. God. I already destroyed one house. Do you want to destroy
It's
another
just a
one?
fog machine.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
That's where it always starts. And then there's an evacuation, a fire drill, and fire alarms going off. Fire department's at my house. Like, we saw a bunch of smoke. It was fog. It's different.
We saw a bunch of fake smoke.
Scott,
Yeah.
did you play video games?
Yeah.
You want to talk about them
Yeah, sure.
We
Played
played
some
video
more
games
Final
this-
Fantasy Explorers.
this week? Yeah, I played that with you guys. I got Final Fantasy
just-
Explorers.
Yeah, we'll just talk about that right now. So last week we talked like we were nowhere near finishing the story mode of that game,
Yeah.
but as it turns out, the story ends at I believe 6-star quests, 5-star,
I thought it was 5 stars, what you guys told me.
something.
The end of 5-star quests, yeah.
To be fair, there isn't a story mode in that game.
There is. Kind of. There is a story.
If
just
you
can
if you
choose to
read it,
ignore it.
yeah,
I mean-
if you read everything if you read everything and then talk to the people, talk to everybody and not just the people who have a question exclamation points. When the exclamation points do appear, there's definitely one there, but I don't care.
There's about as much of a story as there is in Destiny. How does that sound? Original Destiny, not Taken King. Taken King's fine. But yeah,
I'd say closer to the Souls games.
okay, that's fair. That's also a fair comparison. At least with those games, you can just read item descriptions in the game instead of having to go to some grimoire website to read about it. Fix your shit, Destiny. All right, you guys played. We played about like 2 or 3 hours of that together this week.
Mhm.
You guys got me up to like level 15 or something.
Yeah.
And Tony, over the next 2 days, kept sending picture messages to Scott and I in a separate group thread about how his title is legend and he's explorer level like 107 or some stupid. garbage.
116, I think.
I don't care.
So 100 levels ahead of you.
Yeah, just a little bit, maybe 1 or 2. So how's that going for you, Tony?
Well, 119, excuse me.
Oh, that's good. We had that reference point right there.
Yeah. Well, currently I'm eating a Chipotle burrito, so it'd be very difficult to play Final Fantasy Explorers at the same time.
Yeah, you'd get it done.
Somehow.
Have like either your or Scott's opinion about it evolved or changed over the last week?
It is very, it's good. It's good for being a grindy game that I like to pretend is Monster Hunter.
It's like as soon as I picked it up, right, I played through the tutorial by myself, and I'm like, okay, so there's this hub town. Okay, I go up to this desk and I get a quest. Okay,
Yeah.
she tells me
This
what I have
town's
to do.
about the same size as any town in Monster Hunter would be.
Yeah, it's like okay, this
It's actually
town
a little bigger.
is about maybe a bit bigger than a Monster Hunter town. Okay, and then I go out into the world map. Okay, and the world map's stagnant. Okay, and this is a fucking Monster Hunter game. God damn it! They got me.
I mean, I did describe it pretty accurately
No, you
in
did.
that first text,
Yeah.
and I did warn you about what.
Yeah,
it was about.
don't talk like we trapped you.
But it was just like okay. I mean, like it's fine. It's kind of the layout of the abilities is kind of like Kingdom Hearts, right? You can hold one of the triggers, and then your face buttons will switch from the normal functions of them to like an overlay of like triangle does this ability, square does this ability, X does this. Like not triangle, Y square or Y X and A. I
Yeah,
guess.
so you can have up to 8 abilities. That each ability has a specific amount of load. So like if the more powerful abilities have more. So they don't basically it's just making it that so you can't pick the most powerful abilities from every class because the game lets you use any ability that you A have the weapon equipped for, and B have learned already. So like you can be a ninja and use white magic or black magic or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have 8 abilities and you can mutate them by adding extra traits to them, up to 16 times per ability. So.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. Like it felt more interesting than the stuff I've seen of something like Monster Hunter, for example. So.
Sure, I think it's a very if you're trying to figure out what Monster Hunter's like, but don't want to just hop into it. It's a very good intro level.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the biggest pitfall with Monster Hunter is that you're kind of locked to a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, kind of like in both of these games, your
You can't.
progression
You
is
can't.
very
It's
tied
very
to
base.
what gear you have.
Hmm.
I think that it is more arcane in Monster Hunter in that like the options that are available to you at any point in time are less clear. And since it's it's Monster Hunter, it's not tied into the Final Fantasy universe. It can be harder to identify with that world and the items that are being presented to you. So you're not like looking through the weapons and be like, oh, look, I found like the Buster Sword, or like here's like fucking like some other like iconic weapons from Final Fantasy games. I'll use that. But the game, like, it works the same as Monster Hunter in that like basically all of your progression is tied to that gear. It's just that in Monster Hunter, your class is essentially your weapon, and in this game, each weapon type has like at least one or two classes that use it. So you do have some bleed over, but the other thing is that your skills are then tied to your weapons instead. So if you're playing two classes that use the same weapon, you're essentially using the same skills for the most part.
Yeah. And like they're active skills too, like they're fun to use, they're
Yeah.
actiony, and there's like a big animation and shit that happens with it, like
Sure,
other
yeah, and
character
like
actions.
the combat in this game manifests itself in the usage of skills, kind of like I don't know. It's easiest to compare it to like World of Warcraft, where you have a bunch of different buttons to press, and the button does a thing, and then that's it. But in Monster Hunter, your weapon is essentially your entire fighting style. Like everything about the game changes based on what weapon you're using. From like, and well, not everything about the game, but everything about combat. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It seems fun. Like I'll play more of it.
maybe
I spent $30 on it, so I should probably
might as well get like 3 hours out of it.
I should probably play it. Like
$1 1 hour.
$1
$1 1 hour.
I'm close to 50 cents per
There's
hour.
no accent applied to that, I swear. I just wanted to say, because it's not going to come up again while we're talking about Final Fantasy, I did play the Final Fantasy 15 demo last week, Nabashin, and
heard.
you listen to the show. It's real good. It's like upsetting how good that is. So I'm where you're at now. Oh god, that game. I think that game will be okay. Or more accurately, I hope that game will be okay.
Sure.
We'll see. We shall see. Do you think it's possible that they just drop that game on March 31st?
No.
Yeah. Okay. But they do drop the demo, the new demo.
I forgot.
Yeah,
that.
they'll drop the new demo.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna drop the game.
When do you guys think that game comes out?
I still think it's possible for this year.
I mean, it's definitely this year.
Definitely this year.
This year, but I would think it'd sell better if it went by Final Fantasy 13's release schedule, which was around like March. So that would probably be next year. But I think it'll come out this year. I just don't know, because I don't think fall's a good time for that game, honestly.
I feel like if it squeezes in early fall, like September, I think it'll be okay.
I think the best thing that they could do is release it. Midsummer.
Yeah, I could see August, which would be late summer.
It's like, think about what kind of game that is.
Big
That's a game where you need to spend a lot of time. There's the kind of games that you would need to spend a lot of time in them. So when's the best time to release those kinds of games?
when no other games are coming out.
When no other games are going out.
So yeah, no, that it does make sense. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking with it, but we'll have a better idea of that next month.
This is the year for JRPGs, so it's
Yes.
I'm just
I
wondering
have-
like when things are coming out. Like, do JRPGs have the confidence now, or in America, I should say, to have like like the winter release schedule? Like, I'm just curious.
I have an article written about that. That this is the year of JRPGs, actually. So an unpublished thing. So I agree.
I mean, they're stuck with us, but I mean, outside of us, I don't know many people who play them.
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah, I'm like, forget JRPGs, RPGs.
Well, I mean, Witcher 3 was one of the best-selling games of last year, and that's an RPG.
And Fallout.
And Fallout. Um, obviously they don't necessarily do Battlefront or Call of Duty numbers, but you got to look at those and see something. I think Bravely Second is coming out soon, Scott. I just want to let you know.
I believe that is correct, that it's coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, April 15th. It just came out, or it comes out next week in Europe, or this coming Friday in Europe. So I just want to let you know, Scott. So you're ready. April 15th.
Goddamn European bastards always getting stuff before us.
Literally just Bravely
Literally-
Second and
literally
Bravely
never.
First.
Yeah.
Bravely Default. Anyway, to get back on track. Anything else you've been playing, Scott?
Nothing really noteworthy.
Okay. Are you
Binding of
still-
Isaac.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, I did play a bit more of that, but I didn't make any notable progress or have any notable crazy runs.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
Actually, no, I did tell you about the quad shot run.
Yes.
So, yeah. No noticeable runs.
Okay.
They're just perfectly average runs.
That's still an enjoyable run, right? It's a perfectly average run. I
Yeah.
can tell you, I had plenty of more than average runs in Spelunky this week. All of them ended terribly, like the worst. Like I'm
Like
talking.
die to like a bat or some shit.
Well, I mean, in that realm, but like 4 runs in a row where I left the mine with like 70k plus and a jetpack and tons of bombs, like in a row. And I would get to the temple or very late in the ice caves or the city of gold one time. Oh, and just it ended terribly.
And then just like do something stupid.
I was really angry. Just it was while I was editing the podcast. So after I finished, I put it down. And I'm like, I'm gonna play something else, and I don't remember what I played at that point. Oh, XCOM. That's right. Tony,
Hey,
video games.
Did you clone me in XCOM yet?
I did. We'll get there. Don't worry. I got stories.
so I played Final Fantasy Explorers.
Yes, you're
A lot.
obsessed. We know. You have a fucking problem.
I'm almost done beating every quest in that game. So,
Yep.
my next goal is to craft the armor and the weapon for Ninja, so that when I play with you, I'm not like maxed out, overpowered class,
Okay.
which just kills everything because that's no fun.
I will say so. Like they start on what 1-star missions or 2-star missions.
You start on 1-star missions.
Okay. When we jumped up to the next tier, like it definitely got noticeably harder.
Yeah, the difference between the stars is noticeable.
Yeah.
But like I'm at the point now where like 10-star missions, I can add stuff to them to make them harder, and there's still no challenge.
Well,
Yeah.
GG.
Like, yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Because the thing about Final Fantasy Explorer is that kind of puts a cap on the end game. Is that normally you have your damage is capped to 9,999 in any one attack. So most jobs, by the time you get to 10-star with like good like end game gear, that's decently like enhanced and stuff, which enhancing gear, I'll talk about that for 2 seconds because that took like 2 days straight of playing. But the way that it works, like you're basically just doing the damage cap on all of your abilities, but the class that I'm playing, Machinist, is good because my 2 damaging abilities that I use hit about 5 or 6 times each instead of 1. So I do about 4,000 or 5,000 damage 11 times instead of 9,999 damage twice.
So a lot. Maybe.
So a lot of damage. Yeah, tons
Kind
of
of.
damage.
The problem with those skills is you can't any skill that has multi-hit built into it can't have an element factor into it.
That's fine. You put combo factor
Which-
on it and you're good.
That's kind of it works for the mechanist and only the mechanist. Everyone else has to machinist. Sorry,
I was about to say some diverging pronunciation here. I want to start calling it machinist. We can have 3 different kinds.
I have a preset saved and I just called it mech because it's my Gundam class.
Call him little Mac. but Mac with an H at the end.
I mean, but if only Little Mac like shot guns instead of kicking everything.
Yeah,
Or excuse me,
basic-
punching
He
everything.
punches things.
Punching
What's-
everything. Excuse me.
What really depends on that, as far as your damage goes, is how fast those skills shoot per time.
Very fast.
Which
Very
is
fast.
only viable because yours shoots very fast.
Yeah, that's
no
why it
other
works.
no other class can do that. Instead, they have to use faster cooldown and string together a set of, I want to say, six
Yeah,
abilities.
I'm not complaining that like other classes can't
but-
do stuff because.
However,
then-
with that setup, you're ending up not doing 9,999 damage per. You're doubling that because you can add an element mutation, which can also hit that damage cap, which
Correct.
will end up doing more than the machinist. But I mean, the machinist does enough already, so like, why?
the idea is that the damage on machinist is constant. Like I can just stand there for 30 seconds and never stop shooting like constantly. So it just kind of builds. And the thing I was going to say about other classes is that they're capped until you use a crystal surge, which removes that damage cap. So like the highest damage class in the game, which is a samurai, just starts doing like they can cap like 999,000 damage. 999. It's nuts.
Do you know which crystal surge it is?
It's all of them. Anytime you use a crystal surge, your damage cap is removed.
Okay.
Yeah, when you are affected by a crystal surge, it goes away. That's how you uncap yourself in the end game. So anyway, other than that, I wanted to briefly touch on like how you make gear better in that game. So like for example, one piece of chest armor. First, you have to farm the materials to make it, and then it has 4 stats: physical attack, physical evasion, magical defense, or excuse me, physical defense, physical evasion, magical defense, and magical evasion. And so each of those start at a value, and then you can use like materials that you get when you beat stuff or like farm like resource nodes in Libertas, and you can increase those values by like 1. So like say you get like 10 iron ore, you can use that to increase the value by 1. So everything has like 4 to 6 different things for you to do, and then you can also add another trait. So like for example, the armor that I have gives me mobility plus 10, makes my character go faster, but I wanted to put on the armor like an extra 8 strength. So to do that, you have to go and encase Odin, which is one of the Eidolons in the game, one of the bosses. And so to encase him, you have to get him to really low health and then use the crystal surge called encase on him, which takes his soul and basically makes it into an item. So decide to do that 8 times per piece of armor. So 16 total Odins, because I needed to put strength on the
Oh no, you see,
chest piece
that's
and
not
the
even the
boots.
bad one.
No,
Talk
no.
about Alexander.
We'll get there. And then I had to do Amaterasu for the all element damage increase for my helmet. And then for my secondary weapon, I needed to put 8 points of... Excuse me, it was Leviathan
30.
for that. No, for my
Oh, no.
secondary weapon, I had to do 8 Amaterasus to put critical rate up. And then for my main weapon, I had to encase Alexander, this giant castle boss, 30 times
Jesus
to
fucking
put
Christ.
to put 30 levels of critical damage up onto my main weapon. So I spent a good 2 days farming 16 Odin souls, 30 Alexander souls, 8 Amaterasu souls, and 8 Leviathan souls. And then I also had to farm all the materials to level up all the stats on that gear, which took forever.
Well,
But now my character's like nuts broken. Also, you have to level up the skills to put like extra shit on them to make them do more damage. Like what Scott and I briefly touched on, like you're supposed to mutate your abilities by using a crystal surge. So like say you use the combo crystal surge and then you use an ability that can mutate with combo factor, then you use it and then it'll say like I don't know, like Desperado has gained the combo factor mutation. So that's fine. You end that quest, then you go back to the hub town, then you can learn it as a custom ability. So say you were starting with the normal Desperado, and then you go and you mutate combo surge or like combo factor onto it. You go back and you can learn Desperado 1, which is just Desperado with combo factor on it. You can repeat this with different or the same up to 8 different mutations, but a total of 16 times. So you have to basically do 16 quests and get specific mutations on all of your abilities to make them the best that they go. So there's a lot of like there's a lot of potential to grind in this game and get your numbers to go higher.
So you wasted a lot of time.
51 hours.
You stop needing it around where I am right now.
Yeah, like
whereas I picked up my weapon and then I put all the P attack stat upgrade items into that weapon, and it's
fine.
I'm almost halfway done because I think the max for this specific weapon is like 260.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I have it. So it's a 200 right now,
yeah.
and like.
So,
I could get through this game, no problem whatsoever, kill everything within 30 seconds still, and then
Tony just kills it all within like a half a second.
no, not that fast.
No, his damage works based off of combo factor, so he needs to hit drive and then use both of his abilities, and then I want to say his first ability doesn't hit too hard, although
so the way that it
still
works
pretty hard, and then his
is-
second ability hits that much harder, like just by continual shot.
Yeah, the way that it works with Machinist is every class in the game has a unique ability that only they can use. That typically boosts something major about that job. So, for example, Machinist has the unique ability Drive, which makes all of the AP costs, which is the resource that you spend to use an ability. It makes it all go down and drastically reduces the cooldown of my abilities. So what I do then is I hit drive pretty much after buffing myself up with defensive abilities, and then I believe the first one's called Lightning Flash. It's like a 5-shot multi-hit thing where I just shoot the enemy 5 times, and then I have mutated onto that 5 instances of Link to Desperado, which basically means that you can cancel the animation of Lightning Flash into Desperado as long as you use that ability next, which lets you basically chain through your abilities much quicker. And it also increases the damage of whatever you've linked into based on the level of that mutation. So I use that, and then I use Desperado, which is either a 6 or 7 hit multi-attack, which then has 9 instances of combo factor on it. And Lightning Flash has 5 instances of combo factor on it. So basically, combo factor works when it's mutated onto a weapon, where however many times that ability hits in succession increases its damage. It's not total unless you actually have the crystal surge going, but it's per the ability. So
you like work the system of the game.
That's what you're supposed to do.
It links. It actually can link between 2 abilities that have the same combo. That has the same mutation as well.
I feel like saying like that's what you're supposed to do.
Because
is a little far.
No, it actually is what you're supposed to do.
I mean, I feel like it's something that you can do.
That is the goal of getting past. I mean, you can play till 5 stars, the game ends, and you never have to worry about that.
You don't necessarily have to do this.
To experience the second half of the game, and it's half of the game, you need to do that stuff and maximize your how much damage you're putting out, and figure that shit out. At least if you want to do it in the way that I did, which was basically just kill everything really fast and not worry about defense.
Yeah, well, I'm saying I feel like that's like the sliver of people, like the 1% tier that wants to completely use the systems of the game against it, whereas instead of just kind of roughing your way through the game and trying making yourself strong without necessarily grinding your way there, or at least not as much.
To do that, you do grind your way there. To put all those mutations on my abilities, like I mentioned before, you have to go out and use that ability until you get the specific crystal mutation that lets you put a specific instance of mutation on your ability. So I had to go and grind until I found combo factor, and then use those abilities hoping to get the mutation. And then repeat that 5 to 9 times, and then add I think the other ones that I have are on each of these abilities are increased damage when you're attacking from the front, increased damage when you're attacking from the back, increased resonance when you use that ability, increased trance gain when you use that ability, and increased range, increased damage at farther range, and then one other thing.
How did all this make you feel, Tony?
Awesome. Like you have to understand that like this is
Yeah,
it's essentially a dumbed down version of
here's
Monster
like the
Hunter.
difference. It's in these kinds of games. It's if you don't actually pick a build and work something out, there is no real roughing through the game. You're relying on multiplayer for others who have done that to carry you through.
I
The difference is if you don't have any forethought in through what you're doing, you will not be powerful enough to do it. However, the work required in order after you've done and planned it out to meet the minimal requirements of the combo itself.
Yeah, there's a
A-
reason why the
after you
game ends
put
at
the-
5 stars.
but like here
After you've done the work of just putting the strat together and just making it work minimally, which is actually super easy to do, you're done in terms of what you need to do in order to rough it out.
But
If you don't do that at all,
hear me out. Like
it's not going to happen.
you worked off of a build, right? You had something in mind, but like somebody had to go and like write about that and figure that out, right? What is
Not-
Not
like,
quite. It's
what
not
is
quite
that
what I
guy?
did.
Like, what is the first guy who does like the
That's
DPS
not- that's-
mocking this build?
No, no,
Like,
no. You're thinking about it. You're thinking about it wrong because that's not quite. Might be what Tony did with the machinist thing, but it's not quite what I did. What I did was I went ahead and I took a look at. I wanted to. I went and I figured out like through the write up how ability links worked because I wasn't sure if ability links could link every ability together or just specific ones. So I wouldn't be wasting my time because I wanted one build. Because I wanted one build for the Dark Knight to
So
work,
you, like-
and it definitely did not.
so you did like the research and the legwork in game to figure
Yeah,
that
like
shit out.
I will say
For
that,
the
like,
most part,
before I switched to playing
Um,
Machinist, which I was playing Paladin before, I mean, I switched to it because I was hearing. I'm in a Discord chat like server with a bunch of people who are playing this game off of Reddit. So there's always chat going on, like about like theory crafting and stuff like that. And I mean, I like I've talked about it with people, but it's not like I sat there and looked at like a list of exactly like put these mutations on these abilities and use them in this order to do damage.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like applying what I like discussed with people and then kind of manifesting it in my own way to do something cool.
Like,
yeah, because like it's not so much that you need to go and pick a build offline. It's you have to have an idea of how all 8 of your abilities are going to fit together, and then making good use out of all 8 of them.
Yeah.
it's just
Uh,
like this is giving me an idea, right, of
Mhm.
like something to write because like you guys talk about it and like when you get into the specifics, it's fascinating because like
There's a lot going on.
you hear about like people had these conversations about Monster Hunter about like building and like doing these grinds and getting these specific items. It's like,
I should mention real quick that this is nothing compared to how deep it goes in Monster Hunter.
yeah. It's just like you hear about all the stuff, all the work it goes into to even like know what you need to do right to do
Sure,
something.
it can be very arcane.
And it's like no wonder people sound like fucking crazy people
Yeah.
when they talk about this.
Yeah,
shit.
it's a rabbit hole for sure.
like it sounds like lunacy. Like I don't even. I think Nabishin like left. He probably like went to go to Burger King or something. Like,
Get a drink.
yeah, so like what I did
It's-
for my build is I went ahead and I like you know what the most annoying boss in the game is right now.
Fenrir.
He's he's
Fuck
a
that
pain
guy.
in the ass, but like he's not like in my opinion he's not the most annoying. The most annoying is the Omega Armor guy. yeah,
It's not
the
that
field-
bad now that I have multi-hit.
And basically, I was like, you know what? By far and large, it took us 30 minutes to take this guy down on our first try.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a look at what he has and how I can build so this is never a problem again.
I mean,
So the first thing I tried to do is I tried to because he just has way too much armor, as well as a constant buff of shield, a way to immobilize you, and a cannon that does I want to say 10,000 damage, with
Yeah.
what the armor that I had on then. So I was like, all right. So go ahead and I start trying to put builds together, and I would figure out later that okay, the build that I want to work isn't going to work because these abilities don't link together, and I need them. I need to be able to burst this guy down before I am either immobilized or I'm blinded.
mm-hmm.
So I have to rethink this differently. And what I did is instead of I picked some of the weaker, faster abilities, as well as one of the longest multi-hit abilities in the game. Even though it seems a little counterintuitive, but instead I have bypass defense and darkness mutated onto them, which this guy has almost no defense on. And I picked a weapon that has both high magic. I think it's like 130 when you've maxed it out, and then 260 on the physical attack, which like for a single weapon that's a lot.
Yeah.
Because like
for reference, my max gun is 205.
Yeah.
But I use 2. So.
Yeah. So then you just worked him.
So I basically just have the minimal of what allows my build to work right now. I don't even have all the link mutations. And,
yeah, those are really
because I have it, but because I have it thought out, and because I have at least part of it put together, the game is that much easier.
Yeah, the thing is like if
I would have just picked the skills that I thought were powerful and not worked well together, I would be having so much more trouble, and I would need somebody else's help.
Yeah, the thing about endgame builds and that kind of stuff is like you won't get what you need. Like you won't have a 16 mutation ability with what you need on it unless you are specifically working for it from the beginning. Like you won't just happen upon it like, oh, I for some reason have this mutated ability now. Or like you won't just have the items that you need to put the specific stats that you want on a weapon.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like something that you can progress through the whole game just getting whatever armor and stuff that you want and beat like the game proper at 5 stars, but then it becomes more of the like this is when you have to buy into the game a little bit at a deeper level and kind of like take that, figure out what you want to do and build that, because that's going to enable you to beat these much more difficult like encounters where the bosses are doing more things.
Yeah, and like I think there's just like an aspect of it for me is like someone who doesn't, you know, there's definitely times where I've done that for a video game, right?
Sure.
And it's just like from the outside in, like something like more specific and focused like this, like to just kind of game theory it, right, and look at it from the outside of like, yeah, you say you don't get to this like omega broken point without knowing that you're working towards that point from the beginning.
Right.
It's just like where, like what happens before that beginning? Like where do you start that?
Yeah, before that, I think you'd kind of just mess around with abilities and like that's learning the systems. Then
yeah, like that's where the theory part builds into it of like, you know, you learn the systems and you build a theory and like you kind of make a hypothesis based around getting certain items and building towards this.
I wouldn't say it's impossible to beat like 10-star bosses without like, you know, with just going through the game and picking up abilities. But if you're not doing that, like if you're not like figuring out that you need to pick up mutated abilities and equip them to put another mutation on them over and over again, and like if you're not upgrading your weapons and stuff, you're never going to get there.
Yeah, see, it's like,
just going to be impossible. You'll hit a wall.
It's like that's like, I think where I really want to go with this idea is like, where does the theory of like what the developer intended to be difficult, like, you know, it's at this point for you, Tony, for example, like difficulty is kind of an obsolete concept because you were so powerful.
in this one aspect of the game, yeah.
This one aspect, and like so that breaks that curve that they obviously have set up to make it progressively harder.
I mean, yes, but like while it is a curve, I did have to progress through all of that as well and build through that curve. Now I'm just at the top of it, so obviously looking down, I'm at the top of a mountain looking at, you know.
Yeah, it's just like it's fascinating to think about like what did they think of their systems and how they implemented them.
The weird thing for you, Alex, is if you were to pick up my save right now and try and beat a boss, it would feel like you're playing against a 2-star boss, but it's a 10-star boss. It's just how the game works.
Yeah.
You'd have more stuff to dodge.
It's crazy. It's like
that's how these kind of games work.
These kinds of games are insane, and like this is why nobody gets into them.
Right. They're very difficult to like grasp in that way if you're not specifically looking for something like that. That's why Monster Hunter is so difficult to get into.
It's so
because
dense.
it's immediate in Monster Hunter. Like from the very beginning, you need to like have at least a concept of what we're talking about here.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, you think about, and like, I'm sorry, Scott, I'll let you talk in a second. It's just, it's like, you know, you think about picking up a video game and playing it,
Sure.
versus like this kind of like fucking homework assignment.
Yeah,
that
sure.
this shit
Versus
is
picking up a
become for-
video game and playing it.
Yeah, and like playing it with the intent of mastering it. Like I very rarely there are few instances where I like start playing a game with the intent of like wanting to be its master. It's like, for example, like Spelunky is a really good illustration of like it's a totally different process, right? But like there are certain restrictions that I have to hit in like the first 4 levels of that game, or I'll just quit and start a whole new game.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like similar in that.
But you
like,
didn't know that when you started.
exactly. I had to get
So as
there.
you learn more, you then are applying more restrictions to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
To yourself, and to
Right,
the game.
and
So there's like a theory to every game. It's just the one for this is fucking insane.
Yeah, it's just it goes deep, and like I'm not gonna sit here and say that Final Fantasy Explorers is perfectly balanced or anything like that. Like ranged classes are like so much better positioned than melee classes, just because they don't have to worry about most of the abilities in the game.
Well, there's that, but you also don't have to worry about walking up to it.
Exactly.
There's that too. They have with lock on, they pretty much have auto aim so long as you're not moving your character.
Unless you're fighting against the stupid demon that turns off the lights and makes me fucking furious.
Yeah, unless you're fighting that person. Yeah, that person's probably should be the most annoying for you.
It's still Fenrir.
Fenrir still?
Yeah, because it's like I always die every time he does that stupid jump around bullshit.
You see, you don't have super armor, so you can't.
I have Mighty
when
Guard,
you get hit
but-
once.
Yeah, it kills me. It kills you in 2 hits.
Right.
With Mighty Guard on, so it's fucked up. It's so fucked up.
So basically, it's when you get hit once, you get hit by every other hit. Because
Yeah, he disables you. It's stupid.
When you have super armor on, you don't have to give a shit, and you can just keep
Oh
going,
yeah, it does
and
like
you can
it
dodge.
does like 2 damage to you. It's great.
No. Super armor is when you don't flinch.
Okay, and you also have on most melee classes you have like a defend ability.
Right.
That's
With,
also super OP because it blocks literally everything in the game.
everything in the game. Yeah. So with what I have super armor, and it makes Fenrir so much better to fight because when he starts doing that jump, sure, I'll get hit the first time, but I can still run for the subsequent times and not get hit. When he gets hit once, it's over. He's dead.
Yep.
And that's just how long that.
Also, when you get past 8
flinch
stars with Fenrir, he makes like 3 clones instead of 1, and they all do it at the same time. And fuck that.
You see, I still have super armor and I can still dodge it.
Yep. All right, we can move on from Fantasy Explorers.
I think
I know,
like
that
the
was
one
good
thing I did want to
conversation,
say is for that difficulty curve, it is very akin to what the earlier Final Fantasy games did, where what they have a 1 sharp difficulty curve, which isn't too bad
yeah.
because you already have it where they open up the world,
Yeah.
and then on the part pretty much directly before the final boss,
Yes.
they drop you off a fucking pit.
Yeah, the point of no return, right? Where everything is like, oh, this is a real video game now. It's like, oh, they were holding back this whole time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so and basically what you're supposed to do during that is you're supposed to have the game almost mastered by then, where you know exactly what each of your party members does, how they're supposed to work,
Yes.
and how to build them how to use their abilities within the fight, and then also how to build them with their abilities outside of the fight in the metagame.
How it's been for me online is just everybody try and keep the boss from doing anything to me, and then I just shoot it.
Swag.
In this game, most Final Fantasy games drop you off that pit. There's very few Final Fantasy games that don't.
In this game, is it like similar?
In this game, you will only run into that pit if you jump around between every class, just trying things as you feel fit until like right after that 5-star. You'll probably get through 6-star quests. At 7-star, you'll be like, all right, I either need a party or I'm going to need to start building something. Because like what I did is I kind of did that because I was a tank. I hit B for defense, right trigger B, and then provoke. Maybe something died.
Yeah, maybe so. I like that your provoke skill sometimes causes things to die.
Yeah,
I
it's really
appreciate that stat.
It's really cute.
So I was just getting all the jobs until then. And I knew I was going to have to build, but I had after that I needed help. There was no way I was killing anything beyond that point with my knight.
I mean, I think the reason like it's difficult for me to like appreciate that is like the same reason I don't like to necessarily do specific builds in like a Dark Souls game, right? It's just like it feels like you're gaming the game too much, and that kind of is less fun for me.
The other thing is it's a bit different from that because like in Dark Souls there is far too much work in like a Dark Souls game to know just how the stats work in that game.
Yeah. I mean, like, for people who do PvP builds, right? Like,
Yes.
if you are not building a PvP build, like, a character specifically made for it, like, you're not really going to be a competitor in actual PvP. And
That's
like,
true, but it's also a product of the community that plays that game anyway.
Yeah.
Because typically in Dark Souls games, like, there is a specific, like, blood level where you are stopping there so you can PvP with other people. And that's just kind of a generally accepted level.
Yes.
And people build for that. Typically it's like 100 or 120. And they stop there. So like, yeah, people will start new characters, build to that, and just optimize stats.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like the innate PvP in that game, like invading and stuff as you're going through the game, that's still pretty pure.
I like it. It is and it isn't. Like, it depends on which of the games
Sure,
you're playing. Like,
that's
that
fair.
was totally destroyed in the first Dark Souls because of the box glitch, where you could make a soul level 1 character with all
With
the best
everything,
equipment
yeah.
in the game, all plus 10 stuff.
Make
and
the
then-
mules, yo.
Yeah, the mule, and then they'll PvP and they'll just destroy everything. And it's like, but that it's like a accepted thing, like that. If you're doing that, you're doing it to PvP, and you'll have other people who are doing the same thing to PvP with you.
Right, and that's
but that's
kind of how it
frustrating
goes.
for the people who are just trying to play.
It's an accepted thing because there's nothing that anybody can do about it.
Exactly.
There's nothing that anybody can do about it except for complain to the devs to take it out of the game, which is like, nah.
And at that point, why wouldn't the devs just add, like a place to go to PvP with said requirements?
And then
like,
they did.
That could, yeah, exactly. That could pretty much be attributed to like the game just lacking that design that the community so obviously wants.
I mean, it's a thing of like I think it's more something like they game the game in a way, like exactly, it's taking it into your own hands. Like,
right.
Like,
I don't want to put that on the same level as min-maxing stats, though.
I mean, like min-maxing, I think is a much more common practice. I just think like maybe taking it to the extreme that you guys have taken it, and like not just you, but a lot of people who are like very smart at building stuff like that, is maybe not exactly what Square intended for the balance of Final Fantasy Explorers. I put it like in the same camp, right?
I don't think so.
I would argue that it is intended.
Because like as I said, it's you know the death mutation. You can't have the death mutation on everything.
Yeah.
So why the hell can I do provoke?
So why is it specific to certain things?
Yeah. Why can I specifically
you can
mutate
link
death
only
onto it?
specific abilities together.
Yeah, why can I do that to provoke? Why can I mutate that up to 8 times on provoke to have something like a 70% chance of killing any lesser enemy?
It's because they intended it, right? So
Right, they intended it to be that way. It's like what I was trying to get through with the link abilities. You can't link every ability together. You can link certain abilities.
that makes it
together.
so much more fascinating too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because like they
it's like-
probably intended some things but didn't intend other things.
That's normal.
But it all meshes together right, and then you don't know what's there
Yeah,
to
I
be
mean,
there and what's
like
not.
think about any like broken like build in a MOBA or something. Like there are only so many hours for testing stuff, right? And like then there are millions of people that are going to play some game, and someone's going to stumble upon something broken. Yeah, it's cool.
Game balance is fascinating.
All right, we have to move on.
Yeah, we have to move.
Yeah. Yeah. we
Nabishin,
did.
how are you doing over there?
Okay.
You feel like that's what I feel like when you guys talk about Kingdom Hearts for an hour.
It's
I
it
mean,
is
Speaking
like
of which, I got the Terra. You want to hear about it?
wait, what, Terra?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know
in
that-
Kingdom Hearts 2?
Yeah, you want me to break that fight down for you?
Here we
I'm
go.
kidding.
I
I'm
want to hear.
kidding.
I want to hear what Option was going to say.
Oh, I was just thinking, probably not to about Alex offline, but like it's an interesting idea. Just like thinking about like the language of video games and like how you just have to pretty much learn a new language to understand all this stuff
Yeah.
because it sounds completely foreign to somebody else. But like when you speak to the same person on the same level because they understand what you're saying, is basically like learning a new language. So
Yeah, it's like the being new to these kinds of games, right? And but like understanding them kind of from a distance without like understanding them completely as intimately as you guys do. It is a fascinating concept.
Sure, and I think it goes to like the most basic levels. Like if you ever watched Dan Reichert's dad play video games on one of their streams, like he has trouble moving characters around, and that's something we take for granted. Like
Yeah.
we can very easily move around in any video game.
Oh, totally,
It's
like,
just
yeah.
something that we understand.
it's just like
Ethan-
even like having a girlfriend and like giving them a PlayStation 3 controller and it's like they don't understand the concept of using dual analog.
Why's it got to
sticks
be
or
a
something.
girlfriend?
I'm just saying.
but Ethan played Life is Strange, right, which he liked a lot, but he had a lot more trouble controlling than something like The Wolf Among Us because
Sure.
it had dual stick camera controls, and like that's not something that's natural for him like it is for all of us.
Right.
Right, the idea of moving and looking independently and simultaneously is like crazy to people who don't regularly do things in games like that.
Sure. So basically, video games are super fucking complicated, yet awesome.
Yeah, like Ethan can pick up and play Spelunky easily because it's a platform. There's no fucking dual stick control shit there.
Right.
But like it's cool to see like you could probably give somebody a platformer and they can pick it up really quickly, but you could give the same person a third person shooter and it could be like a whole difficult thing for them.
Yeah.
So yeah. Tony, you've been playing other video games.
Yeah.
right?
I'll not spend as much time on these.
Well, we can talk a little bit about the Division.
Yeah, so I will. I've got two more, and then I want to talk about one of yours. I got this this email this week saying like, "Hey, you're in the beta for Paladins," and I was like, "The fuck is Paladins?" But apparently, I signed up for this beta like back in apparently like the end of 2014.
Sounds like
and-
something you would do.
And it's essentially Overwatch. Like this game is Overwatch.
Like a
You-
character-driven
it is a first-person
shooter.
character-driven, ability-based shooter, where you are playing one of 4 game modes. Overwatch had 2 in their beta, two of the Overwatch ones are in Paladins. So it's payload from like Team Fortress 2, where you have like a cart on a mine track and you're trying to stay with the cart to move it toward the enemy's base and like blow up a door. And when you do that, you win. One team is offensive and the other team is defensive. Then you have like a capture the point one, and then there's survival, which is just whatever team kills the other 5 people first. And it's insane like how I installed this game and I played the first one. I was like, whoa, this is literally Overwatch. Which, it's cool. Like there's a couple things that are different. Like you don't level up really in the game. You have like these cards that you can get through in-game microtransactions or just playing the game. You get chests, which I sent a great video to all of you guys of opening a chest with cards in it, and you can then
Yeah,
pick them.
that was something, all right.
It was pretty good video. I should have put it on my Vine.
Christ.
By the way, Alex, you just had the static.
Yep, you did.
Oh, great. Is it still happening?
No, it was
That
like
was over.
Yes, it's typically just lasts a second.
so.
Great.
Like you pick these cards, and like a card will be like there's like one card at the end that's like an ultimate card that has a better effect than the other ones, but like it'll be like one card makes you move 10% faster, or like one card makes your crowd control abilities on you last 30% shorter, and then when you level up in the game, you don't level up an ability, you start with all of them. You level up the effect of these cards. So you could say like one of the cards says when you hit someone with an attack, it also does 6% of their maximum health. So that's good for hitting people that have tons of health, like the tanks, because it's a percentage based damage rather than a numbers based, which would, obviously be less effective on someone with 4,000 health than someone with 2,000. And so when you level that up, then it goes from 6% to 8%. So that's the kind of progression in the game. Like, a game lasts like 10 minutes. I've had a lot of success with one character, and all the other ones I'm really bad at. But I've had fun playing it. I don't know, like, I think Scott and I could have a good time jumping in and like just like playing a couple games every now and then because it's very casual. I know that it will be immediately replaced by Overwatch when Overwatch comes out.
Yeah, say Overwatch.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm kind of like sad about. But like, the game is good for it. I feel like I'm using it because it's good for the time between now and Overwatch.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Overwatch though. I'll be
Yeah.
right with you. That game looks awesome.
What are you're getting on PS4 probably?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't.
I'm gonna
run that on my
have
computer.
to. I'm gonna have to buy it on PC and on PS4 too.
Why? See how people got to play with.
Yeah.
Sucks for them.
All right, so that's Paladins. Scott has not played it yet, right?
Nope, not yet.
Yeah, they sent me 2 codes, and I was like, Scott's probably the most likely person to play this with me. So
Yeah.
So other than that, I played some of the Division last night because their open beta started.
Yes, I played some of this open beta as well.
Yep, I went through the available story missions, which are like 3 of them.
There are 2 actually.
Well, there's one when you're going to your base.
That's not like
that super counts.
Technically a mission though.
It counts.
Well, it's not labeled as one, so it can
counts.
go die.
So anyway, I played that, and then I went through those missions in about like 2 hours. Fuck the boss at the end of the one where you're turning the power back on, because that shit killed me like 12 times.
He was tough.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
That's the new mission, so.
He can go die.
Okay, got it. Cool. It was very easy with 3 people. 4 people.
I did all of it by myself. Yeah. So also I had a lot of trouble with like the gun that you start with because it bounces so much.
I got a grip, like a
Yeah.
front grip drop like almost immediately, so it was
That's
fine
nice.
for me.
So yeah, eventually I found like a 3-shot burst carbine rifle, and I set that as my secondary, and I basically use that exclusively now. But anyway, so I did all that, and then I messaged Alex at like 3:40 in the morning, being
I
like,
was
"Hey,
way asleep.
oh yeah, I'm
for sure."
And I was like, "Hey, it says to go into the dark zone now. What do I do in the dark zone?" So then I went in the dark zone, and I ran around for a while wondering what the fuck you're supposed to do in the dark zone.
Yeah.
And then I found some chests that were all like, "You need to be dark zone level 8 to open this. You are dark zone level 1."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Okay, this is very fun and interactive and great." Then I was walking around still by myself, and I didn't have a mic plugged in, so I couldn't talk to anybody, but people kept coming up to me, and my PlayStation Network name is just my name.
Yeah.
So everyone would be like, "What's up, Tony?" And I'd be like, "I can't say anything."
Yeah.
How do you emote in this game?
Jumping jacks.
You hold down on the D-pad, and then you aim the stick around, and you can
right.
select jumping jacks, and that's all you do.
All right.
Exactly. Nabisha knows he's never even played the fucking game. Well, he has
played it.
actually.
Yeah.
I forgot.
But anyway, so I was in there, and then I started like noticing that like I started noticing like skulls on the minimap, so I started going to them. They were like other players who had gone rogue.
Agents. Yeah, dog.
Yeah, so I would shoot those guys down. So I spent probably like an hour just running around trying to shoot people. I'm like Dark Zone level 4 now or something. I'm assuming that it's way more fun when you have people to play with, so we're gonna see that after the show tonight, hopefully.
Yeah, it is more interesting for sure. Like they've rebalanced some stuff since the closed beta, which is good. It's good to see noticeable differences in the way that the game plays in such a short amount of time. I tweeted about it earlier. Like clearly they responded to feedback.
Yeah.
There's a lot more enemy NPCs in the Dark Zone now. If you remember when I talked about it a few weeks ago, I said it's kind of like barren. It was one of my
it still felt that way to me.
Yeah, and it could have just been the time of day. Like
I mean, there were a bunch of other players. Like, I had a lot of fun for like 30 minutes. There was this one guy, like his PSID is like Suzuka and then some number, and he was the first rogue that I killed. And then I saw him like by chance just run past me again. I was like, and he wasn't a rogue anymore because obviously he died. And I was like, this motherfucker, he did it once, he'll do it again. So I just like stalked him around for like 25 minutes, waiting for him to kill someone. Then he killed someone. I fucking nailed him.
That's awesome. See, like that kind of emergent shit you can do in the Dark Zone too. Like, you know, I talked
Yeah,
about.
he never knew that I was there. It was pretty good.
Yeah, because people can't see you unless you're a rogue agent or you're in their party with them.
I mean, they can see
can see you,
run
but they
around,
don't see
they
your
don't see your
name.
name and stuff.
Yeah,
Unless, there are a lot of people who like looked at me funny because I was like aiming down sights at them just to see like if they were a real person or not.
Yeah. So you're hidden. You can hide basically.
Yeah, basically.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
And
Also, I got a pretty sweet.
So what
beanie.
you're telling me is I'd be really good at this game.
Probably
Scott, you'd enjoy this game.
I talked about there was like a crew of like 3 or 4 rogue agents like going around just straight fucking murdering everyone, and I hid in the like underground, and they went past me and like they didn't see me. So like you can do stuff like that in the Dark Zone if you don't go rogue.
Yeah.
So like I played a little bit earlier before we did the show today. I was playing with Jacob, his friend Derek, and our good friend Cameron, just rolling together. I hadn't played the open beta. So it's interesting to notice the things like we saw a lot more NPCs in the Dark Zone, like a lot more than was like in the closed beta. And they might populate more stuff to your group if you're in a group. I don't know how.
My level, I was like only level 7, and then like obviously Dark Zone level 1 to 7. So that might also be a thing. I don't know.
Your player level, so your like character actual level determines what Dark Zone you go
Right.
into.
I know that the one that I was in was the level 1 to level 7 Dark Zone.
Yes.
And I was like, all right, I'm at the very top end of this.
So if you look on the map, you can't access the other areas outside of like the
I
beta
never
area.
looked at the map in the Dark Zone.
But yeah, so there are like 6, I think, Dark Zones, and they are sectioned off as difficulty levels of Dark Zones. So it's like one column straight up. So that the bottom one is the one that's in the beta, and it just gets harder and harder as you go up. So I assume like it'll still instance you based on your character level, but
yeah, that makes sense.
there might be a cap to each area until you get to max level, which will be the hardest and most full of areas. But like, so there's one new point of interest on the map now, which is like a sports store. But you can basically go to points of interest in the Dark Zone, like Koreatown is one of them. The sports store, some of the subway areas are points of interest.
Yeah, I went in a couple of those. Basically, I was just looking for infected areas.
Yeah, and that's where like things will populate more often. That's where you're going to see more players, and that's where you're going to see more loot. You get Dark Zone keys, which you get then to open those Dark Zone chests if you're within the right level range. I imagine that stuff, like you saw, like you need to be Dark Zone level 10 to open this chest.
Oh my god, it was so annoying. Everything.
Yeah, I imagine as you go further up, like the tiers of Dark Zone areas, that's what's going to change.
Yeah, there was a good
areas.
like 10 minutes of running around like, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing right now?
Yeah. But like this being open beta, and it's kind of open to everyone, you see a lot of different kinds of people in those areas than you did in the closed beta, for example. Like everyone was just generally more aggressive in this from what I played. In the hour and a half that I played, like there was definitely a lot more rogue people, a lot more like camping by extraction sites, and a lot more like just people trying to kill other players. So I feel like that might be more reflective of what the final game is, which is both frustrating and exciting because there's more to do at the very least.
Right, for sure. There's more of a feeling of tension.
Yeah, it's interesting, and like there was definitely like we had just cleared out an area, and there was another group of players that were clearly like in a party together that were helping us, and then there was like this kind of moment where we're like, are we gonna fight? Or are we not going to? And then
Are we about to be cool, or?
And then someone threw a grenade at Derek, and I'm like, I guess we're fighting now. And then it was like a thing of like 2 of us died, but we managed to kill enough of them that Jacob finished them off.
Cool.
Like when we had all died, and basically you can hold 6 pieces of loot. And I don't know how it cycles it.
Oh, is it 6 in the Dark Zone?
Yeah, 6
Then you
pieces
have
of
to get
Dark
it
Zone
extracted.
loot, and then you have to extract. That's the max you can hold. But when you die, 3 will drop as public loot that any other player can pick up, friend or foe, and 3 will drop as private loot, and that will be at where you died. So, so no one else can get that but you. But I think it'll disappear after a certain amount of time.
That makes sense.
So yeah, they've retuned it, and I like it even more now, and I already liked it a lot. So
yeah, my only other thought on the Division so far is that I had a lot of fun with the character creator. I just hit random over and over again until I got a really scruffy Asian man.
Yeah. Are you more interested in that game now that you've played it, Tony?
I was always interested in it. I don't think that playing the beta has affected my opinion on whether or not I'm going to buy it, because I was already going to buy it and play it, just because I knew that we were going to that Scott was probably going to get it and we would all play together. And that's
Are you
enough
more
for
excited about it now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I always was, because that like the concept of the Dark Zone is that kind of gameplay is exciting to me, but I would say a little more worried about it now because of like the experience that I had of just like what do I need to be doing in here? Like I expected there to be a little bit more of like here are the things to be doing, like, and instead of just like now you're here.
There are no missions. There are no quests.
Well, I wasn't expecting missions, but like I was expecting not to have to go out of my way as much.
There's no
things.
direction.
Right.
It's more like I was, because Jacob had the kind of same reaction of like, okay, what do we do now? It's like it's more like a survival game where it's like, okay, this is the world.
I'm cool with that, but like it's just like playing by myself. It was not what I was expecting going into it.
Yeah,
so I would like to see more added to it, which I think will be.
It was a surprise for me too. It's like that's why I was like, oh, this is kind of like a survival game of like there are points of interest in this world that you can just kind of cycle through and visit and see what's going on.
Yeah,
and I think that
cover-based shooter Hunger Games. Yeah.
Kind of. And I think that can be cool. Like, I'm curious to see what they do with it. Because I actually went back and I watched the original Division announcement gameplay trailer. And it's fascinating to watch that one. Because a lot of that actually looks like what the game is now. But you can clearly tell it was like a pre-rendered proof of concept now.
Sure.
But, like, they're going through this police station. And it all just kind of happens, right? There's one of the people... says, hey, there's a police station over there. Do you want to check it out? And then when they get to like the parking lot behind it, they're like, oh shit, there are guys. And then they go through this whole fight, and then they go in the police station, and there are cops like trapped in prison cells. And then they get some loot, and they leave, and they're like, one of them says, I've got my flare gun ready, and they shoot it off at the extraction site. And then when it zooms out and shows it was multiplayer the whole time, which was... It's just hilarious to think about what that game is because some other players come up and start attacking them. There's like this block that says Dark Zone, and it's highlighting the area that they're in, and then it outlines the extraction zone that they're sitting in, waiting to get extracted from, and the like 90 seconds until the helicopter arrives type thing. Like so many of those concepts are in the game, and they were showing it from the beginning, but they just weren't outlining what it actually was in game. So it's cool to see how they've executed on that, and that kind of original proof of concept can actually probably still happen in the final game. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. But yeah, there's my games.
Yeah, you want to ask me about one of mine?
Well, I just wanted to comment on Fire Emblem Fates before you talk about it a whole lot, and I have to leave the room.
I'm not really going to talk about it that much.
I'm buying that game probably tomorrow, and then I'll play it. But should I buy, digital or a card? Because I've heard things about if you buy the card versions that make it not as good as digital in this case.
What have you heard?
That if say I were to go buy Birthright,
yes,
I would be unable to make the choice that would let me play Conquest or whatever the other one's called.
Yes.
And like basically if you buy the game digitally, you buy one of them, and then when you get to that point, you can then choose either option.
Yes.
But if you pick the other one, it'll be like, do you want to buy this part of the game?
Yes. So like,
but if you buy a card, you just don't get the option.
So
that's what I've heard.
So I think it'll present you the option regardless. I believe, and I read a news story about this, so I can't be 100% sure. It was some website, don't know it off the top of my head. But I believe if you buy it digitally, technically you have the potential to have either version until you choose which side.
So I looked at it in the 3DS shop, just kind of curious, and there are two things to buy in the 3DS shop. One of them for each.
Yes.
So I don't know.
So I don't know either. So I bought it digitally, right? I got Birthright, which is the game that is more like Awakening, for reference.
Right.
And before I even started my game, I purchased Conquest as DLC to Birthright. Okay. So like it doesn't matter to me, right? Like I just bought them because I knew I was going to get both. I'm going to play both at some point. Mm-hmm. So like and
you bought it all. Yeah, you bought it all digitally.
Yeah, I was indifferent.
I would be very like okay with buying one of the like the physical copies of the game if that was still an option.
Yeah, I mean
I'm not sure because I've heard that people who have bought both of the physical games, the way that the games talk to each other, there are specific like things that you can do by playing both stories on one file, basically, kind of. But if you play them on different cards, it's like they don't know each other exist.
So it is worth noting, like I bought Birthright up front, $40, right?
Yeah.
It's a goddamn mess because I thought like you buy Birthright and then it'll discount Conquest in the eShop store to $20 because that would make sense because that's
Sure.
how every other
That seems like a
all-
sensible business
yeah,
decision.
and then they're just two games. You fucking launch one, whatever. But no, it says in the description for both of the games on the eShop, it says, please do not buy it both at full price. Purchase this game, like this, the other option for a discounted $20 price after Chapter 6 in the whichever one you've already purchased.
Right.
So it says, please do not buy both at full price. Like, there's no way for them to prevent people from accidentally doing that.
It's a very Nintendo-like solution.
Exactly. So it is worth noting, when I bought Conquest, you launch into it, you buy the other story as DLC for the one that you have.
Right. I know that about the
So
digital one.
I think you can just do that with the card one as well.
I might just play it safe. On
It
this
might
one.
it might be worth it to just play it safe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I like this news story that I read. Basically said the word said like it will lock your saves for that game if you only have one version after you choose. So until you choose, you have it's like fucking Schrodinger's Fire Emblem game. You have it is simultaneously Conquest and Birthright until you lock your game version to whichever you choose, meaning that you can still choose if you buy it digitally. Even if you bought Birthright, you could choose Conquest, and
They should have just sold everything like the special edition. Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's weird, it's messy, but like I
The
have
NX
them,
is going to be amazing, guys.
yeah,
Just
the
watch.
NX is gonna be great.
They
They're gonna-
finally
game will be like
understand.
this.
I
they
made a Nintendo
understand
account.
Nintendo. I did
Yeah.
too.
I did too. Yes. All right, I already said that. So, yeah, I don't know, but I was like, I'm getting both. I'm just buying both. Whatever. Don't care. So I'm set. Maybe play it safe. Maybe not. It's up to you. But
I also saw a picture that was going around the internet that shows basically all the characters in Fire Emblem, Fates, and it has little like dots, colored dots, and the colored dots like they kind of like basically the main one is there's a pink dot next to every character that you can have sex with in the game, and
it's you know
it's all of them.
you're marrying them.
Yeah, it's all of them except for your child and some other non-human person.
Yeah, this is the first Fire
Racist.
Emblem. This is the first Nintendo game I think that outside of, I guess.
Then there's a rainbow
Tamagotchi
dot
Life.
if you can have gay sex with it.
That's
I'm quoting the picture directly.
yeah. This is the first one that supports gay and lesbian romances. So
It actually says gay sex on it.
yeah, it says gay. I hope not. I mean, I guess. So
Is
the
it? Well,
the
Oh yeah, I'm not quoting like official material.
this comes from the official Nintendo.
This comes from
press
the
kit.
official Reddit.com of Nintendo.
Yeah, this came out with everyone's reviewer's guide. No, but there. Yeah, so
Let me see if I can find it for you guys.
the
'cause
Birthright
It's interesting.
from Allison Rapp, who's part of the Nintendo Treehouse. She tweeted out that the Birthright has the female queer relationship, and Conquest has the male main character, male other character queer relationship. So that's cool.
All right, here you go.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't played that much of it. Are we getting a text message? Are we getting a link?
I put it in the chat.
Okay. I want to see these rainbows.
You'll recognize
If
one of
you
them.
can gay fuck it. Okay.
Yeah, you'll recognize one of them.
Where are the dots? Oh,
They're like
very small.
The picture is much bigger than it first appears.
Yeah, I mean, I clicked to zoom it, so I guess.
If you would want like I don't want to. Never mind.
I mean, I don't want to know all the characters beforehand, so I'm kind of playing it safe.
Right.
Yeah, it seems cool. So I started Fire Emblem Fates. I'm on chapter 8 of the Birthright side.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it splits at chapter 6. So at the beginning, or maybe halfway through chapter 6, or the beginning, I don't know. You have to choose which side you're on. There will be a third option that comes out in March 14th, I think.
Yep.
Revelations or resolution, I don't know. Some
I will say that
word.
this picture that I shared with you guys has excellent subtitles for all the characters.
Sure. And yeah, it's cool. It's exactly what I wanted. I'm trying to think like where to start with it. I think the first 5 chapters are the same no matter what. From what I understand, basically you were kidnapped from like birth or whatever. You're in one kingdom, then you find out that you're born in the other, and that your biological family's in one, but the family that you grew up with is in one, and then it makes you choose between them, which is like the most fucked shit. And then they all have to murder each other. So it just goes real dark real quick. Especially because I like both. They kind of introduce you to the main family group of characters, and I like both groups of characters. They're both cool. Like I would hang out with both of them. Maybe one a little more than the other, but they both seem pretty cool. But yeah, it's Fire Emblem. They've rebalanced some of the partner stuff. So basically, when you have characters on adjacent tiles to one another, they are in an attack stance. So they are guaranteed to whatever character you are partnering with is guaranteed to do like an attack with you. And when they are stacked on top of each other, they are in a defense stance. So it boosts your defensive stats, and they will only do an attack with you if you have a high relationship. And if you're stacked together, whatever your character that is stacked with you will always protect you from stacked attacks from other enemies. So there's a lot more layers to that kind of system that they introduced in Awakening. But now enemies can do partner up, and they do it constantly, and it's very difficult. Makes it much harder, where that only happened like a couple of times in Awakening. But it's, for balance, I think. Yeah, I really like it. I like all the characters. I haven't played that much of it, like I said. There's a whole base building aspect to it, though, which is cool. I didn't know about. And in the base, you can actually...
Got that castle.
You can actually move around your character, like, freely, as opposed to, like...
A menu?
Like, tactically moving them on the map, which is weird, because, like, when I was playing, I'd be like, man, it'd be super weird if, like, there would be an area of the game where you can just move around freely, and then, like, the next chapter, they introduce you to this area where you can do that. But it's cool to see the little Fire Emblem sprite move around and shit. And, like, in your base... your other party members will be hanging out, and they'll have exclamation marks over their head, and you can talk to them, and they'll talk to each other. And if you see them talking to each other and check in with them, the relationship between those two people will get closer. You can invite people to your personal quarters, and that might raise your relationship status with them.
I mean, maybe, if it's good.
But, like, if you invite someone to your quarters, you get, like, the full 3D rendering, like, actual high-res, like, anime rendering of them on your... on the 3DS, and it looks really sharp. So there's a rendering of every character in the game like that, which is cool.
You touching any faces yet?
I don't know. I think they removed the petting minigame.
Somewhat.
I've tried. I've definitely, like, when they appear on the touchscreen, I just try and pet them.
I think it's just to wake them up or something, and that's it.
Maybe.
When they sleep.
I'm gonna keep trying though. But like they said, like when you go in there. Basically,
would that be something you, honestly, like if it was just in the game, would you be okay with it? Okay,
I mean, I did it in Kingdom Hearts. You gotta know I'm gonna do it here. I wouldn't make it weird though, but I played Monster Monpiece, so
Yeah, you did.
I think I already made it weird by rubbing those cards.
It was odd in Kingdom Hearts.
It was.
I was like, why is this here?
I just thought it was dumb.
Yeah, it's definitely dumb.
It's dumb, yeah.
I wonder how they're going to implement that into the PS4 version of that game.
Not at all.
Don't say that. You break my heart. But you're right.
Dream Eaters are dumb, man.
Dream Eaters are dumb. They're no Donald and Goofy. Yeah. So like you can, you know how you can have, basically there's a like a social link esque ranking with every character. Like your main character can have a relationship with all other characters, mostly friendships, but you can also marry some depending. So it's always 4 tiers of that: C, B, A, and then either A plus, which is new to this one, or S.
S for sex.
Okay.
I mean, that's when it happens, right?
So like if you marry a character, you can now like progress that relationship further by inviting them to your quarters, and you'll have new dialogue between you and that character. So it doesn't just end; it keeps going. Kind of like how you can in Persona 4 Golden, you can go out at night with certain characters, and that creates new dialogue. Every time you do that. So, like, even if you've maxed out a social link, you can still have new, interesting conversations with those characters, which is cool. So everything seems really great about it so far. I really like it. It's really fun. It's gorgeous. People don't have stub legs anymore. They actually have feet, which is cool. And yeah, I just want to play
What?
more.
I want my stub legs.
I know, Scott. So funny story about Notice Me Senpai.
Yep.
So I had to uninstall and then reinstall that game because it wouldn't launch anymore for me.
Yep.
And when I did that, it deleted all my progress.
How'd that feel?
Terrible. Like, you know, whatever, stupid game about it. So I tweeted the developers out, and then they were like, "We're really sorry this happened. You know, we just patched it, and hopefully all those bugs are fixed." I'm like, you know, it happens. I understand. I just thought you guys should know. And then they started following me. So I think that means I was noticed by Senpai,
Yep.
as Tony put it.
That's right.
Like on a technical level. So that's funny. And I think I've gotten more people to play, or at least give Notice Me Senpai a shot, than they have Twitter followers, but like, whatever, man. Counts for something. So then I reinstalled it today, and I started playing over again because I'm a mess. I'm just a goddamn mess. So here we are. I finished XCOM 2.
Cool.
That game's all right.
Just all right.
It's better than all right, but it has a lot of technical problems that really need to get like fixed.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just your PC.
yeah, it's just my computer. Like, I'm not running it at optimal. I'm hitting the minimum. I'm not running it at recommended, obviously.
Well, no, hold on. Would these problems be solved by a more powerful PC?
No.
From what I understand. Apparently that game just runs like trash, no matter what computer you're playing it on. Like, there was definitely a point, because I'm running on low settings. Like, there's definitely a point where I was like, this should probably be running better. And then during the final mission, like, the game started like falling apart, like seeing through the environment, and like screen tearing and clipping, and just
It's Dark Souls 2 all over again for you.
it was very similar. And just a bunch of terrible shit. I'm like, oh, let me just get through this. That last mission is fucked too, so I was very stressed out when all this was happening, and yeah, it was a mess.
But hey, it's the final mission. So long as you win,
I did win.
Nothing else matters.
Basically, the final mission plays out like you get to this really big room and you have to kill 3 of these really, really difficult to kill enemies, and all the enemy types that exist in the game just keep spawning twice every turn until you do. So it just never stops. And then Tony was killed in the final mission.
Oh yeah.
And
Good.
he was my medic, so that was real bad.
So how did Clone Scott do this time around?
Clone Scott did great. Scott the Second did very well. He wasn't in the final mission because I had a ranger that was a higher level than him. Rangers are the dudes with the swords.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you were alive at the end, and you definitely did a lot of murdering. You were the scout version of the ranger, so you were always basically cloaked or concealed, whatever you want to call it. So that character would move ahead and find out where all the enemies were before Aaron Hansen, my hot sniper, would start murdering them. And Nobshin, you got to be the other version of the sniper, which was the one that uses like the pistol really well, which was super cool. Definitely a lot of cool hot shots taken.
Huh.
And then I made my Psy Trooper Risei Kuchikawa, so it was all around pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I like that game. The Psy Trooper stuff is really excellent. That was actually probably my favorite class by the end of it. What the fuck? My cat just is losing his mind.
I
Can you guys
heard
hear that?
that. I heard that.
Gus, what are you doing? Derek left for the week, or I guess for a couple of days, so this is gonna be my whole week now. But yeah, the Psy Trooper was really great. It takes way too long to train them up, but basically they can, you get two ability trees. One is like one version of this class, the other is the other version of the class. The Psy Trooper is the only one that can fill out both of their ability trees. So they have just like 15 different abilities by the end. They hit max level. So mine did, and it's just like so many crazy area of effect shits that you can just drop and blow shit up. So it was really cool. But like, I wrote a little bit about it because I don't really feel comfortable reviewing a PC game if I don't have the recommended specs. Even if that game doesn't run well in general, like I can't necessarily review its performance to the best.
Yeah, if you're under the recommended
Yeah,
specs.
if I'm under recommended.
Yeah,
I hit minimum.
That's super reasonable.
Yeah, that's I had a couple people saying like you reviewed Firewatch and that game runs like shit on PS4, but
That's the standard, though.
yeah, I'm like, well, I told the person in question, I'm like, that launched as intended on PlayStation 4. I am not necessarily playing XCOM 2 as intended on PC, so that I think that's reasonable. But just a couple of things like I brought up that a lot of the Enemy Within expansion to the original or the reboot of XCOM doesn't make its way into XCOM 2, which is kind of a bummer. Like, in that, you can make fully automated troops, like just robots that you could bring around. You can make like cyborg people who go into power armor. None of that is in this.
They'll probably add an expansion that'll do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which is kind of a bummer. Like, you would hope that would be in the game from the get-go if they did an expansion for it for the game they'd made before. There is, like, you can modify your troops. They're called PCSs, I believe. But you can only have one per character, and they're not, like, as varied as the stuff in XCOM Enemy Within was. So, just kind of disappointing to see that stuff not make it into. And there's still only, like, 3 tiers of weapons and armor, right? The starting tier, mid-tier, and top tier. I was hoping there might be more of that stuff. There's more, like, you can basically do, like, one-time experiments to, like, randomly generate, like, sets of armor and weapons and ammo and modifications outside of those tiers. But that's it. So there's not another, like, full tier or full group of armor. So that was also a bummer. But overall, I really like the game. I think the classes, the way they redesigned all 4 classes, makes that game, like, 100% worth playing if you like Enemy Unknown. So worth noting. But it's just a mess right now, and apparently they put out a patch right after I finished it on Friday that made it a lot better. So I haven't heard any stories of if that actually improved stuff, but we'll see. Regardless, I had a great time with it. It took me about 35 hours to finish it. And as someone who doesn't have a comfortable place to play PC games, and it ran like garbage on my computer, me putting 35 hours into it in like 2 weeks is still pretty considerable. So
Yeah.
consider that an endorsement for the quality of the actual game. Like, the gameplay was still second to none. So
Yeah, I'm still gonna have to get that.
yeah, I definitely think you should play it. It's just maybe wait a little bit.
Yeah, because it's not like I might have to play that late.
Yeah, I feel like that could fit into a summer where currently not a lot of games are coming out. So
Yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna do.
So yeah, I like it a lot. I feel like if I still can't imagine this not eventually coming to PS4 and Xbox One. I know a lot of people, say it probably isn't going to. I
Would it be
figured
too hard to make it run?
that's
You
what I
think?
wonder. Like that must be the actual reason why this didn't come to PS4 and Xbox One.
Well, I mean, I don't think they would start it because like they would have to port it anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, why wouldn't they release it, fix the obvious bugs that would come out with the PC
Mm-hmm.
like front version,
Mm-hmm.
and then port the best version over?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking they would do. Like, because the
But
architecture is
like,
similar. So
would they even be able to?
yeah, I think they
Is
would.
the question
I think
after
they would
seeing
be
it.
able to, but they have to optimize it a lot, and they haven't even optimized it for like graphics cards on PC. So, I think they're just kind of trying to figure that shit out first.
Hmm.
Um, we'll see. Obviously, it's up in the air, but the game's really good, and I hope more people get the chance to play it, especially if they can fix some of the issues with it. But that's it. That's all I've been playing. And the end.
What a week.
What a week. What a very interesting video game segment. We'll take a break. When we come back, we got just a little bit of news. Nothing like super major to talk about. And a Silver PR voicemail, and then we will roll out. So we will be back in just a little bit.
Choo choo choo.
Choo choo.
I missed it so much. We can just keep rolling unless anybody has to use the bathroom.
I mean, I was supposed to eat.
I'm going to be back in a few minutes.
Okay. I'll use the bathroom, get a glass of water, and we'll...
I'll probably bring my food over here, then mute my mic through this segment,
Okay.
and talk when it's over.
I'll be right back.
Break.
Gus, what's wrong?
What you gonna do, you idiot? Oh man.
Hoochie mama.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Is Tony back?
It sounds like Final Fantasy Explorers to me.
So that's a yes.
Explorer!
What's this guy say?
All right, let's take a look at these news stories.
Just got 4 in here.
They're so new.
It's a very straightforward week for news.
Oh boy.
The H1Z1 thing.
Yeah, I'm curious if you and Tony can elaborate on it.
It's simple, unless you want me to get into the coding aspect of efficiency.
No, the base level is
Base level is essentially the game was already 2 games in one. It was questionable why they had even with some of the shared assets. It's questionable why they had the 2 games that were so different and started to branch off that way as a single game.
Yeah. Okay.
Which a lot of people are like, why are they doing this? Why can't they keep it the same way? The way that the games are set up, the game modes are set up is you can balance for one, or you can balance for the other. When you do both, you have to do them. If you try and do it separately, then you have 2 different games anyway. So why have them bundled into one package that you have to load on startup and all these other things, especially when you could just have them as 2 separate projects, 2 separate files that, even though they're kind of the same thing, are balanced in 2 totally different ways with many different things in there.
Okay.
Just buildings.
Save it. We're not in the news section yet.
I think it's dumb.
I'll repeat everything you said.
Yeah, I can get that.
All right, we're all back. Let me get this jingle jangle around.
Huh.
What?
Pete was at MacFest.
Pete?
God, I forgot his tag name.
Party Pete?
Repeat?
Yes.
He what? What?
He just tweeted that.
Fuck. God damn it, Repeat. Would have hugged him if I had known he was there. Peace, Pete. I saw Megaran.
I saw.
He seems cool. He was rapping. I like Megaran a lot.
Or Richie Branson or something.
He is. He flew out to MagFest just for MagFest. I was hoping Richie Branson would also be there, but he was not. But it's okay.
You get any names for your thing you want to do?
I mean, I have people in mind, but I definitely didn't have time to propose it to anyone.
It's all about the Ninja Sex part. That's all you care about.
It's really it. I mean, that's
the whole inspiration of it. And that's the only reason you want to make the show.
Exactly.
You have that one show, and you're like, okay, I'm done. I don't need to do this anymore.
I have a couple other people that I haven't broached the idea to, but are open to the idea.
That's good.
So let's do this. Let me make sure. I'm gonna restart it real quick. So who I am. News in gaming. Let's talk about news.
Throw one out there really fast.
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
It happened last week, but game trailer shut down after 13
That's
years.
right.
Yep.
After how many years? 13?
13 years.
Jesus Christ, man. That was a bummer.
That's one of my major sites, too, so that was a real bummer for me.
Yeah, I remember because I was going to bring it up, and then you weren't on the show, and I forgot. So I'm a terrible person. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of good people, good writers, good personalities there that I hope they find a space to work in.
Yeah, it's a bummer too because literally Game Journal is just something I go to every day. So I'm still going there every day. So I was like, oh right, the site's not updating because there's no one here anymore.
That's how it was with Joystick with me. I would still go there every day. And like that last blog post, that wasn't even the final, like the one saying like, "Hey, we're shutting down." It was like one last news story that they just published, and so yeah, that was a big burden of bad news. But again, hopefully they find a cool space to work in, and maybe if like a video version of something like Polygon came together out of that, I think that would be really cool. But I know that's wishful thinking, but you can only hope.
Yeah.
Other news, Scott was talking about it while we were on break a little bit. The H1Z1 is officially breaking apart into 2 games. So these two are H1Z1 Just Survive and H1Z1 King of the Hill. It was announced earlier this month, and now is in effect. So they're both available for $20 each on Steam Early Access. There's new trailers. So I guess there was like a Battle Royale mode that was a big part of H1Z1, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And they started, from what I understand, I don't know if you guys started talking about it on the show, or if it was just something I was talking to someone else about, but they started rebalancing the game more in tune with just that mode. And they were focusing super heavily on just that mode and the microtransactions that were going into that mode. And that was kind of like doing the total game a disservice. And now they've officially split that off into its own thing. And that's the King of the Hill, correct?
Yeah, so I kind of called it, but didn't say anything going in. With basically, it's in the way that these 2 game modes are going to work. One of these is going to be balanced, the other one isn't. Go ahead and take a guess at the one that they're going to balance and the one they aren't going to balance.
Yeah, would they balance Battle Royale because it's way more popular?
Because it's more competitive in nature.
Yeah.
They're going to balance the one that's more competitive in nature because that's the one that makes more sense that would need balance, like absolute, have a balance necessity to it. So they go ahead and they do that, and then in turn, survival gets shafted.
Yeah. So
like shafted harder than I thought it would be.
So do you think like that's gonna? Because Tony, you said you're not a fan of this.
Yes.
I think he's more of a, like I'm gonna take a guess before you actually say it.
Okay.
So hold on. I think he's more upset that, not so much at the literally becoming 2 different games because it doesn't really affect them all that much in that respect, but that they are now both up for sale at early access at the same price that he bought the original one at.
Yeah, this seems kind of gross.
That part is definitely gross.
Like,
am I correct?
I mean, yeah, but my thought is like, I just don't care about this game anymore.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you see, like that doesn't really count towards either or.
Fair.
So, like, what if you bought the game on early access when it launched?
You get both. You have both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they like cloned your inventory between them or something.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good. Yeah, this just seems like
it's that part of it. It seems gross because it's like at the very least, like if you're gonna increase the price, to be a little better about it and say $15 each.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, make the price.
But at the same time, as far as splitting the games up, it's one of those things where you should have done only one or only the other.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or 2 spin-offs like in the first place, simply because the behind the scene work for doing the same game with both of these 2 vastly different modes is not going to work the way you want it to. With my biggest comparison being League and Dominion.
Yeah.
That was Dominion. They balanced Dominion itself for the way the game was at its release, and it was fun then. But in the grand scheme of things, Dominion doesn't matter. They never really balanced anything for it. So now it's not fun anymore just due to the way it works.
Yeah, it's just
It's
Dominion.
yeah.
I mean,
Like
it seemed,
originally it was fun.
but now it's just
Now it's just like the game doesn't allow it. The way the game works now doesn't allow it to be fun anymore.
it just feels to me like in 6 to 18 months, like in that kind of range, we're gonna hear that like the King of the Hill H1Z1 is like coming out of early access, or maybe never, who knows, that, or is like coming along fine, and then like the part of the studio that is doing Just Survive is just getting shut down. Like I feel like that's where this goes, because like they were, when it was one game, they were already clearly prioritizing the part of the game that they could milk money out of, which is the battle royale mode, which has microtransactions. And now that it's two games, like I feel like there was just not interest in doing that other version of that game much anymore. I don't know for sure, but that's just the feeling I've gotten. And I think
There
that,
were microtransactions in both, and actually pretty good. There were pretty good incentives for splitting microtransactions between the two. The big problem with it is, once again, you can't actually balance for both modes effectively in
Yeah.
one game.
I just like it's the same thing like Hearthstone, right? Like you don't have to pay money to get into the arena, but people do because they just want to get back into it faster. So like that's why like just inherently that King of the Hill mode would make more money. Just people, because of like the nature of the game mode and how fast it goes by.
Yeah.
So
I can kind of see it go there, but at the same time, I don't see them doing a full split between the teams.
yeah,
I can see a couple people only actually doing this and only actually doing that, but I can see a lot of crossover still.
I was just kind of curious what you guys thought. What do you think of this, Scott? Just like personally, are you indifferent?
I'm totally indifferent,
Okay.
and it's a step forward from what they were doing before, because like in order for them to get the other part right, they would need nearly perfect communication for behind the scenes stuff. Just because they would have to essentially build two different systems ground up, no crossover, if they did want it to balance right, and it would feel weird going from one game into the other, but like that would be okay. Like that would be acceptable. It would be weird for when you would stop playing one game and go strictly to like another, but if you played both, you'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
And they would be essentially two separate games just bundled into one load, with the same model assets. Which
Now
is
they're-
like now it's like it's kind of like that, but they're not going to have. They're eliminating a lot of back end trouble by splitting it into two games.
I don't know. Seems odd. Seems gross to me, but you know,
It seems gross because of the pricing mostly.
yeah, mostly. But
Because it is fucking gross.
It's not that bad.
like there's definitely been worse examples, but yeah, I imagine the outcry for this has been resoundingly negative. But that's just because the internet.
Yeah, most people like it's mostly like a code. This is coming from somebody who does coding. It's even with modular coding, you would essentially need to have double of everything. Like, even you could copy and paste between two separate games anyway, but you'd have double of everything just in one place, in one file. Like there's so much room there for you to fuck it up, and I can tell you that they probably already did it.
Yeah.
Like use something that they were supposed to put in one game, in one mode, and just have it in both.
All right. No, I mean it makes sense from like a design standpoint, like why this needed to happen. But yeah. The DICE Awards, 2016 DICE Awards, which is reflective of video games in 2015 happened this week. Just a few call-outs I thought was worth mentioning. Satoru Iwata received the Lifetime Achievement Award. Hideo Kojima was inducted into the Hall of Fame. There was some cool talks that came out of DICE too. One with Kojima and Del Toro, which was cool. I'm just looking at here like some weird. There are some definitely weird awards given out. Like Fallout 4 won Game of the Year, and also won Outstanding Achievement in Game Direction, which just seems weird to me.
I think the only place that ever actually gave a Game of the Year.
Yeah, like, and DICE is that's like the developer kind of like awards type.
And I can get that too. It's like nothing does what Fallout does. So
Yeah, I mean, like
that might be more practical.
from a design standpoint, like, you know, they talked about it a lot on the Bombcast. We talked about it on here of like the kind of like inner workings of those kind of games are definitely second to none. Like, it's just, you know, we definitely were on the more apathetic side of that game. So I guess it just comes across as a surprise to us. Sprite Award went to Rocket League, though, so that was cool. You know, Ori and the Blind Forest won a lot of art direction and animation. Lara Croft and Rise of the Tomb Raider won Outstanding Achievement in Character, which is cool.
Ridiculous.
I think it's ridiculous compared to some of the other stuff on this list.
Yeah, that's the only reason I say that. Because
But I'm glad that game got recognized for doing something
Sure.
right in that regard. Yeah, but there's just like Life is Strange and Witcher 3 on that list, and they're both like way better at that. Which isn't to dismiss Tomb Raider, it's just to say, like, you know, the execution was better. Handheld Game of the Year was Helldivers also, which was weird. And online gameplay went to Rocket League as well. So, Outstanding Achievement in Game Design went to Witcher 3.
Yep, that's the one that should have won it.
So,
Like hands down.
yeah,
where's
it's-
Undertale?
yeah, no Undertale on any of these lists. It doesn't look like. Sprite Award had Undertale. Correction, but yeah, it looks like that was the only one. Which is a glaring omission, I think. Oh, it was on role playing game lists as well, which went to Fallout 4. So,
Sure.
but you know, can't win them all. Speaking of Fallout 4, though, Bethesda announced the first 3 Fallout 4 DLC packs, which will arrive every month between now and May, culminating in the first story expansion. So the largest of these will be the story expansion, which is called Far Harbor, which arrives in May, and that'll be $25. And the player will work with Nick Valentine on a quote-unquote, on a search for a young woman and a secret colony of synths, end quote. And that's going to Maine, which is pretty cool. I'm looking at the other one. There's a Automatron DLC, which will be $10 in March, and then the Wasteland Workshop Pack will be $5 in April. One of them is fighting against a horde of evil robots, which includes a quote-unquote robo-brain, which sounds pretty good. And the workshop will include new settlement building stuffs. So it's kind of akin to the Hearthfire? Not Hearthstone. The Hearth something DLC for Skyrim. But yeah, that's interesting. Like, people were expecting them to kind of announce the DLC at their E3 press conference, which they announced they were doing a couple weeks ago. But they've also said like this, there is more story content, some more big DLC plans to come after this. So cool. It's cool to know about that stuff is coming soon rather than later, and it's also there's more of it to come, and they have a plan set in motion, so that's cool. The only other news story I had in here was that the HTC Vive, which is the other PC-centric uh, VR headset.
Did you mention
What?
they're did you mention they're increasing the DLC?
Oh yeah, they're upping the cost of the season pass, which was initially $30. I don't know how much it's going up to.
It's going to $50.
Okay, that
That's
makes
because
sense.
they're adding more stuff like similar to that Dying Light did for with the following.
Yeah, it makes sense if like that's also going to include those, as they said, the first of however many story expansions, if it's going to include those future story expansions. So yeah,
Yeah, they are like me. Someone like thinking cynically is like, oh, this would be like this is almost a good PR move if you do that. But I don't want to think that way. But it's just like, I don't know. Like Fallout was just weird. Like it had like so much hype, and then like when it just became the same game again, it was just like it's not like people were disappointed to say this wasn't exactly what people wanted, even though that's exactly what they said they wanted. So I don't
yeah,
know.
it was like, there were definitely like some of us like saying like, I wonder how they can take what they did with Fallout 3 and make it bigger and better, like they did with like Oblivion to Skyrim. But
Mhm.
like they just didn't do that.
I mean, I don't know what this really speaks of. Does this speak of more of like how much of a generational gap this really isn't, or this is like how we're pretty much at somewhat the limit of we are what we can do with video games as
I
far
like
as like
I feel like it isn't though, because you look at something like, again,
No,
like
not even close.
it's
Not even close.
it's you look
Because
at,
your direct comparison for the limit of what we can do is go ahead and take a look at Fallout, then go ahead and take a look at Witcher.
yeah, exactly, like
Then think about what's possible if you combined some of the better aspects of those games where each other failed,
yeah,
and
exactly, like
that's doable.
the world of Witcher meets the mechanics of Fallout. Like you could do that, I feel like that comparison doesn't work just because Witcher came out that same year, and it's like a clear demonstration of like taking the kind of ideas that Skyrim put into motion and like executing on them on the next level.
I mean sure, but like I feel like I mean like as far as technology wise, like I feel like there's nothing really wrong with Fallout personally. Like
No, I mean
being
like
someone who doesn't play the game or anything like that, I just feel like they just don't care about their story when they probably should at this point because like games like Firewatch and Oxenfree coming out and that's what really what games are these days. At least it's for single player games, I should say.
like
It's about having a good story and have those
Fallout
experiences.
Fallout reads to me as a game that was developed, or that started development
Or
before
in a
Skyrim
vacuum.
even came out, in a vacuum, right?
Yeah.
Like that, it's illustrative of like, look at Pokemon, for example, right? Pokemon is so developed in a vacuum, right? Like the only real changes they've made to that series over the course of 20 years is making it a little bit faster, but the core of that is still pretty much identical to what it's always been.
Hmm.
And
Whatever, man. Detective Pikachu.
yeah, I mean, you can fucking pet the shit out of Pikachu, but it's a wonder of
I said
like
Detective Pikachu.
that works too.
Sorry.
You get a little Danny DeVito Pikachu, please, God.
And it's like the same reason. It's like I'm not going to pick up every Pokemon game generation when they come out.
Mhm. And like,
The next one I'll pick up is if it's out, the one that's 3-4 generations down the line.
yeah, right. Like, and the thing about Pokemon is like, it's like a reliable horse, right? You can always just get back on and know what you're doing at any point. And some things will be different. There's going to be a weird mini game in it where you can dress your Pokemon and take them to beauty pageants. But like outside of that, you kind of know what you're getting into. So I think the frustrating part about Fallout 4 in comparison to Pokemon knows what it is what it is, and it will always be what it is. Fallout 4 purported to be something that was bigger and better than Fallout 3, but in reality wasn't that different from Fallout 3.
Hmm.
And
Just bigger.
And I think that's definitely a part of that is the hype train, right? Like we've all been sitting on what could Fallout 4 be for 5 years. That's fair. Like that's on us. But then another part of that is like look at what other
What
Western
it could have
developers.
been.
Yeah, like look at what other Western developers are doing, And of course, there would be a realistic expectation that maybe one of the biggest Western RPG developers in the world would take some of these like design implications to heart and ask themselves what they could do with those kinds of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention when they proved they could do so not too long ago.
Exactly. Like, I feel like that is not an unfair expectation. It's not unfair to the consumer and, like, the development community to look at that and expect that. And it's just, like, I'm not saying it's unfair that Bethesda didn't execute on that. I'm just saying that they didn't at the end of the day. So, like, you know, in a year where like Dying Light, I think it's a way cooler game than Fallout 4. Like, you know, that's like these are the kind of things that we're going to gravitate more towards, like these franchises that are either new or clearly doing a lot of different stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not like Bethesda can't take it back. It's just like I think they have to pay a little bit more attention now, or a lot more attention for that matter. But you know, like Tony and I were both people that loved Skyrim and put like over 100 hours into it, and we walked away from Fallout 4 within the first 20 hours. So like those kinds of games can work for us. This one just didn't. I don't know. Maybe it's Fallout. Maybe it's like that franchise just isn't as interesting as it was in 2008. Maybe not. Maybe there's a lot of post-apocalyptic games now.
Maybe like Fallout's the like in between Assassin's Creed games, and like Skyrim or the Elder Scrolls series is more like the numbered sequels. Like
maybe like it's a weird thing of like I liked Fallout 3 at the time more than I liked Skyrim. And
you mean at the time of playing both of them at this?
Yeah,
like, when the first both came out.
Yeah, but like post Skyrim, I'm like, man, I thought Fallout 3 was better than this, but I still really liked this. But then seeing Fallout 4, it was kind of like a hindsight is 2020 type deal of like, wow, seeing what Skyrim did differently was actually more exciting. Like the inventory, like God, like you open the Pip-Boy in Fallout, like everyone's complained about it. I get it, but it's really fucking terrible. Like it's just like the favorite system in Skyrim, right? Like where you can tap up on the D-pad or whatever, and like it'll just bring up like this small, totally easy to read, easy to navigate menu, and you can just select a weapon, like without having to go into the full menu and just change weapons real quick. And it looked sleek. It looked good. Like that's like there's just kind of like this hideous, weird to navigate quick select menu in Fallout 4 that's just not as good as that. And it's just like there were 4 years between these two games, and one seems like much sleeker and better, like more intelligently designed interface wise than the other, and that just is crazy to me. Like that's why I say it seems like a game that started development before Skyrim even started development or finished development, and it was then just made in a vacuum by itself. So it's a weird game. HTC Vive is going to be $800. This is Valve's partnership. They partnered with HTC to make this. It is the, I guess, quote unquote competitor to the Oculus Rift.
Oh man, it is so hard to watch all this go down. Because it's like at this point they were hard pressed to make VR this time correct and like go well. They were hard pressed from the get go to do it. And it's just mainly because the R&D isn't there yet. And like to do the R&D, this is what needs to happen.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people have been talking about it in, you know, like saying like, hey, this is where it's gonna start, and like they just can't get those prices lower right now because until those parts are cheaper, they can't make.
Oh no! Like in terms of this is where it's going to start in terms of the equipment. Like from here, this is the like the new starting point, and it's going to be stuck here for the longest time because like how much different really is this from what it originally was?
like from
Like let's talk virtual play. How much different is this really from what that
massively
originally
different.
was?
Massively different. Like I think like
Feels that way.
no, I think like there's not even a comparison, honestly. I'll unplug my phone real quick. But you know, like people were speculating this was going to be $1,500, so I guess like
Yeah, considering like I'm actually
considering.
surprised it's that cheap.
So like this is for just to break down the news story first. Like this is the headset, the two hand controllers. I don't know if they have a name. And then like the two sensors. I guess I don't know if they're like cameras necessarily. But yeah, I don't even know. There's a picture of it. It's like these two square boxes, the headset, and then the two hand controllers. And again, it's worth noting Oculus Touch, which are the hand controllers for the Oculus Rift, not launching until later this year. So Oculus comes out at the end of March. And that's $600. This will come out in April, $800 for all this. And I think the base PC that you need to have running it is like in the same territory as the Oculus one, so it's like a $900 computer.
Do you need 3 USB cords or whatever?
I don't know. I'm trying to see if it's listed in this news story. But yeah, there's something about O'Brien, which is one of the designers of this, saying buying it. Dan O'Brien is he's the VP of HTC via whatever that project is, and he says it makes more sense to buy it like all packaged together for $800 than buying it piecemeal, like one by one.
Makes sense.
And he's saying that there is nothing else that can do what the Vive does. Now, I've heard like a lot of comparison demos of like, you know, people who've seen the Vive and people that have seen Oculus and Oculus Touch, and you know, the response seems generally positive, but I've heard definitely more raving things about the Vive. I'm not really sure what it does different. The Vive is like the one piece of VR technology I'm not very informed on.
Like to break it down, it's the Vibe has different from the other things. It's not just like an accessory to a game. It's one of those things where it's all right. You put this on. You have to have games pretty much almost. You have to have games like developed for it, and it's built in like to the headset that you have a certain amount of open space around you.
Yeah, you need like a room for the Vive. It will ship with two free games: Job Simulator and Fantastic Contraption. Also, I don't even know what Fantastic Contraption is. And it. Oh, even more games are being announced for it at GDC in March, apparently.
Mm-hmm. And like the thing about it is, the biggest difference is that you're gonna have the other sensors.
Yeah.
Instead of controller, this thing has other peripherals to it,
Yeah,
but they come with it.
They're calling them base stations, or those boxes that will fill out the rooms.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you know, this is still a thing of like we don't really know what's going to happen with this kind of stuff this year. But now we know the price, not $1,500. That's good. And now we just need to know the price of PlayStation VR.
$200.
$200. And then let the battle royale begin. Any other thoughts? Anybody? We talked a lot about pricing and stuff when we talked about Oculus, so.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the opportunity. If for Sony, if they could just price it right, not like they will win it, but I'm just saying like they'll have a huge like at least a stall base for it at first, so people
They can get
just about
VR
the,
into people's hands and people's homes.
yes.
If Sony can do that, like there is hope. Otherwise, I see this being more niche until it finds some other way of breaking out into the public persona. We'll see. Like, obviously that's not going to happen on PC, and I don't think that's going to happen at this price point. So it's more of a wait and see game right now. But I can tell you we can wait and see what Silver PR has to say in this voicemail. How's that sound? I don't know if that sounds good to you guys. But we're doing it.
What up, guys? So we are here. How you doing? I'm doing good. I did play some games this week. Can you guess what did I play?
I wonder.
I did play some
Division.
Rocket League, especially the Rockets Lab. It's kind of fucking fun. If you want to get away from regulated Rocket League levels, you know, the normal ones, this one has like crazy goal setups and crazy layouts for the arena. It's like nutty. So give it a try if you want. It's a good palate cleanser from regular Rocket League. Also, I did play some Division open beta.
Hey!
And I quite liked it a lot.
I was right.
I'm in a crossroads now. I won it for my birthday on April.
April is his
Uncharted 4,
birthday.
and I don't have the money to get this game on March. So
Now we know.
I'm kind of like in this crossroads between, okay, this game's going to be way bigger, going to give it more hours than an Uncharted single-player game with some multiplayer that I did have fun in the past from other Uncharted games, but I kind of...
Sorry, I just saw a tweet that just says Avatar The Last Airbender is 11 years old. That just seems ridiculous to me.
First of
Back
all,
to it.
Uncharted doesn't come out after my birthday, so both multiplayers are gonna be unproven for me, unless you know the Division comes out crappy like Rainbow Six Siege came out, but then by that time that should have everything fixed. So I don't know. I'm in the crossroads. Maybe I just red box Uncharted 4 and get this one. So. And surprise, I mean, a game that actually servers work. What? Sick burn. I'm talking about Street Fighter 5 now. I'm gonna be honest. I was one of those out there fucking upset that day one.
Oh, I
servers
saw
weren't
Silver
working.
VR.
And I'm gonna tell you why.
I
First of
saw.
all, I give them my money way fucking early, months ahead. So I felt that I had the right to complain. Although,
the right to complain.
It's just
Yeah.
noise in the internet for them, so what the fuck not. But I felt that I was in the need to be upset because they made all these tests. You think it was going to be, but then again, once the copies were in the millions or maybe more hundred thousands, and the servers were just going to burn, they just needed to put more servers. That was it. Although there's some technicalities that they're fixing day in and day out, so. And the single player content is really lacking. I have to be honest. So, since they're working this game as a platform to add more stuff down the road, they should put an arcade mode real soon, or if not an arcade mode, a time attack, because maybe they don't have different endings like in classic Street Fighter games for them for an arcade mode kind of like thing, but. Put a time attack or something. Put something that put me random characters and fight with them for 8, 9, 10 stages, not this survival crap and that short story mode. That I'm not upset about the story mode. I'm disappointed, but at least it gives me a background of the characters and what they're stationed for whatever it's going to be on.
Apparently Rashid likes the internet, so that sounds
and
cool.
online mode, it's working now. You know, we're talking about since Friday, Saturday, it was working just fine for me, so... I don't know. I have my fun. Late, but better than ever. So whatever. And that's it, guys. I don't have. I mean, you guys perhaps gonna be talking about DICE and all that shit. So now that you know, I got upset with Street Fighter 5 and their crappy launch in the first hours. My question would be for me this week, what kind of game you got really upset that didn't work day one because it was server dependent?
Oh, man.
I guess for somebody out there, maybe they're going to say Diablo 3. Because
Yeah.
Diablo
What I was
3
about
had
to
the
say.
I was
same
going to
shit
say
the
Diablo
first day.
3.
But, I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's everything for me this week. Hopefully next week will be way better. Some shit's going down, and I'm dealing with some stuff, personal stuff that... not big deal. Life moves on and whatnot, but yeah. Anyway, guys, have a fun one. Have a happy Sunday. So we are signing out.
Thank you, Silver VR. He actually contacted me earlier this week asking who the guest was going to be on this week, so he could address them in his
Willem
voicemail.
Dafoe.
And then you were like, no one.
And I told him Willem Dafoe. Thank you, Mr. Dafoe, for joining us. Yeah, Diablo 3. Holy shit, man, that was fucked. Like right from the word go.
It's like for me, it's like I keep dodging these bullets unintentionally because it's like I played like Diablo 3 like in that like demo, and I decided like then and there I was like, nah. So
Yeah.
I didn't buy it. I didn't play it like when it actually came out.
Yeah, I mean,
So
Tony
I
and I,
dodged the bullet there.
we were
But
in
it's
a.
big Battlefield fiasco, and I'm like, I don't play Battlefield.
Oh yeah, the Battlefield. Fuck, that was.
So so I dodged the bullet there. And there's a bunch more that probably happened, but just games that I don't play,
Yeah.
or like might have played, kind of like Diablo, but just end up either getting it later or something, and I just dodged the bullet on it.
Yep. We were
just without realizing it.
Tony and I were playing. We were in a Skype chat with Rob James, your two roommates.
No one knows who that is.
From when you
Game
were
Crashers. Game Crashers.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. Game Crash from Rob James
Mhm.
of GameCrashers.net.
There you go.
Go watch his random casts on Twitch, twitch.tv/GameCrashers. And your roommates from college, Tony.
Yep.
It was the 5 of us. Man, it took I think 3 hours before I got into the game itself, because that was an always online game.
Diablo came out at a time when I was living at college and did not have and my computer was not working. So I was playing on my roommate's like tower PC. I remember like scheduling like 2 days where I could just not do anything, and I got his permission to use his computer for like 2 days.
Yeah.
And just play.
Yeah, it was just a mess though. Holy shit. But that's probably like the worst one. Bloodborne was fucked at launch as well. Like
I remember that.
None of the online stuff was working at all. Like the notes weren't showing up. Invasions and co-ops weren't showing up, and obviously the load
I wasn't
times.
playing that online.
Yeah, the load times.
I wasn't playing that, like I didn't have PS Online when that happened.
Yeah, the load times
Destiny's
were
launch was pretty shit.
was mess. Yes.
Up until
Was it?
about a year after it launched.
Oh, never.
No problem. Like
No,
that
I'm sure
with
the game worked fine. It just wasn't a good game.
Yeah.
that. Yeah, no, that doesn't count.
Shut up, Scott. It counts.
Mm-mm.
Counts.
And Mark is watching. Your good friend Mark Hisling is watching Nabishin.
Oh, my good friend.
Yes. And
Don't
I
put
say
that
that.
curse on
No,
me.
he's my good friend.
I say that because he's currently using Snapchat to put animations over my face in the Google, the YouTube
Yeah,
video, and
I
sending
saw.
them. So he's a monster. I'm trying to think. Nabishin, any games for you that were fucked at launch?
Server wise, no.
Really? Oh yeah, I guess it doesn't matter to you.
That's
You
why I
don't
was
play
like,
online games.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I play them. I play them quite a bit, but like I seemingly managed to dodge the bullet on that particular like side of things every time through some caveat.
Yeah, I could say Mass Effect 3 was a pretty fucked launch because we were
Oh shit! That is it.
we were going
That
to
depended on
we were going
that was
to
it.
live
That's the one.
stream it, and Twitch put out a thing like an hour before midnight on the East Coast saying, "Hey, you're not allowed to stream this game live until 12 o'clock Pacific time." So basically, we had to sit around and do nothing for 3 hours, and that was fucked. So
That's the one.
That's not the game's fault though.
it's not the game's fault. It was just a fucked situation to be in.
I'll tell you what is the game's fault though. Like you kept fucking like get 100% the single player without doing some of the online mode or
The app. Yeah.
doing the
Well,
app.
I mean,
And
it's
the app
definitely
wasn't
at least
working for
free
the last
trial.
few days. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, that was the shit.
Yeah.
That was one. That was my one.
Yeah. Outside of that, yeah, Diablo 3 is the fucking one though. Holy shit.
No Battlefield.
Battlefield.
Also, in terms of Uncharted or The Division,
Oh yeah.
Division means you might be playing with us.
Yeah, you can play with us if you get the Division.
You can play Uncharted.
Yeah, we could
But
also
not
play
with us.
we could play Uncharted 4 multiplayer.
Uh-oh.
What the fuck is happening?
Remember Scott's alarm?
Oh my god.
Sorry about that.
It's a good throwback to a couple months ago. It's good to hear that it is still between like the post and your wall, so your whole bed just fucking vibrates.
Yep.
I told one of my coworkers who said his alarm didn't work very often. I told him about that, and now he says I wake up with a heart attack every day. I told him to make sure he doesn't let it fall between the bedpost and his wall, and I told him what happened, and he laughed pretty hard. I'm leaving that in. That has to make the final show. Like that's.
Do I know this person?
I mean, you've
Probably.
seen them.
All right.
I mean, it's just a good thing to wake up to because, like, it happened. Like, did I tell you about the story of how it happened to my uncle?
Yes. You talked about
Okay,
it
and
when
yeah,
it
yeah.
happened.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And I also told you that my cousin now has that alarm
Yeah,
clock.
it's fucked, man. It gets the job
Work
done.
for them.
Oh, yeah, it gets the job done better than any alarm clock I've ever seen.
Yeah. Anyway, Uncharted
should
4
get it.
does have multiplayer, and you can play that with us too if you want it. But I'm probably not going to play it because why?
That's what I mean. Like, we're not gonna play it.
We'll play Division with you. Think about it, Silver BR. You take your time. And add us on Facebook. And I'm sorry, I thought your birthday was in February. Harold's birthday is in February.
You see, that's the one you were looking for.
Yeah. And Harold tweeted us saying, "Games fucked at launch. How about Rock Band 4?" Very fair. Yeah.
How bad was Rock Band at lunch?
Like all the re-downloading the
So
old
bad and none of us
songs.
got it. Aw.
Yeah, exactly. All the re-downloading all the old songs that they said would work didn't really work, and it was just a mess. There was one more I thought of that was messed up at launch, but I lost it. And when Scott's alarm fucking scared the shit out of all of us.
I mean, it didn't like it doesn't bother me. Never really has. It's just that all right, that I have to deal with that now. It's not something
You're a
that
werewolf, Scott. So
it's not something that I can't deal with because like old alarm clocks, I could just be like, I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I can just leave it there.
Okay.
Like Cody knows.
Holy shit, we've been recording for 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, when Scott and I were living together, there would literally just be an alarm that went off for hours. And you could hear it from, like, when you came in the hallway that we were lived in from the lobby. You could hear it coming from our room, and no one ever knew what the fuck it was. But it would just go on for hours in the morning.
I feel like that's any college dorm, though. Somebody's alarm is going off
But
at
it's-
hours.
It's very loud.
Yeah, of course.
Right, but like this is a bit different.
Yeah.
This one you can't like just ignore.
Yeah.
You have to be
you
like
can't.
you have to be like not around it
You have to
because then you're not actually ignoring it.
God, so many people must have fucking hated you guys.
No one knew it came from our room.
Which was the great part.
Thank you, Silver PR, for calling in. You can leave us a voicemail at 404-590-1337. I just want to sample the alarm sound and put that at the beginning of the show. You can also send us an email, mailsack@irrationalpassions.com, mailsack. You guys should send us emails. We'd appreciate it. Follow each of us on Twitter. I am, Mark. I'm Alfighter27 on Twitter. Scott is at WhatTechuz. Nabishin is at NABESHIN186, which I spell out because I think it's more likely that people will follow Nabishin than they will follow Scott. That is why There. Now you know the
Yeah.
truth.
You know what's
Now-
funny? It's I was just reading some tweets, and then like somebody had like did the that symbol at me, and I was like saying that they forget to mention my name again. But I was like, I was tempted to say, don't worry about it, but I was like, I don't tweet. Why?
Yeah, the disclosure that I always put is like Scott sees all your tweets, but he doesn't necessarily respond to them. And Tony's at Tony Horvath, all one word. Follow the site on Twitter at IrrationalPod. That's for everything and updates on when the show's alive and Twitch and everything. Rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher. It helps us out a lot. Check out the VG Evo Podcast Network with a bunch of great shows that we're a part of. And also check out Malicious Pod X. We are streaming. I think, did I stream this week? I didn't. No. Last time I streamed was The Division. Maybe I'll do some of that today. We can stream some of that. youtube.com/Irrational Passions. Again, Slide 2 will be over just about the time this audio version goes out. And then Tony and I are starting up Omega Quintet in March. So look forward to that. And tell your friends about the show, because word of mouth's the best way to spread the love.
Please tweet at IrrationalPod who best girl is, and we will confirm or deny by the end of the show.
Don't, please.
Chia. Tally.
From Omega Quintet, please.
From Omega Quintet specifically. We are selling a shirt, teespring.com/IrrationalPod.
But everyone knows it's actually Maurice. Shut the fuck up.
Oh my god. Not in the middle of the outro, guys, please. If you buy the shirt, it goes to support us. We don't know if or when we'll be selling other stuff. I would say because we have sold enough of this to actually print and ship it, we will probably do other merch in the future. Don't know what it will be or when it will be. We'll see.
Rational Passion thongs.
You know what? As long as it has Scott's face on it, that's what Tony said. Okay, that's not my idea. But yeah, if you buy one,
Like our mascot?
yeah, maybe Horstachio Hudson.
Isn't that copyright though?
Yeah, it totally is, but it's fine.
That's why you have to use my face. But I mean, like, what?
So what you're saying,
Like,
today's
when?
cover should
Like,
be
When
Horstachio
was
Scott's
this
face
a
on top of
thing?
it.
Like, when did we decide that my face?
Tony
would be
just
on
said it one time. Okay,
What?
Like, was I here?
that
Or-
Scott's face should be on Irrational Passions brand underwear.
Oh, yeah. It's actually panties.
Thongs, would that fall under the panty category?
I don't know.
I don't know. Women's underwear works.
I do know how women's underwear works,
So we
but
will,
I don't know how it works in reference to Scott's face.
Okay, fair enough. We will sell merch in the future, but for now, this is the only time that this shirt will be available. So go buy it, help support the show. We appreciate it. If you don't have the money, don't worry about it. I'm not trying to guilt you or anything. I will say that as a full disclosure. And for everything else, Irrational Passions, irrationalpassions.com. That's it. That's the show. Thank you so much to everybody who listens. We have had a couple of people dropping in, dropping out, watching this, like Harold Mark out there somewhere, who's sending me more weird distortions of my face via Twitter direct message.
I mean, now it's your fault.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Danny Wiesner, for our opening music of Two-Player Co-op and the closing music of The World is Saved. Thank you, Ninja Sex Party, for being amazing. Put up a little heart there for them. That's for me. That's not for you guys. That's for them. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Nobshin, as always, for joining me. I love you guys. Winky face. Huh?
Yeah?
Huh?
Yeah?
Close the show already.
I've been your host, Alex O'Neill. Play your games, stay irrational. We will talk to you all next week. Tell me about titles. What are you doing?
That's the title noise.
Gross. That is not the title noise.
Titles. Have an event tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Swift the Shift. Blue Eyes White Privilege.
Still funny.
Scott eats like a duck. Like a kangaroo.
Like a kangaroo.
Exactly. Call of Duty 4, 20 years later. $1 1 hour, learning a new language, video gamies, it counts,
Doesn't count.
jumping jacks to emote, official gay sex, you can gay fuck it, was noticed by senpai, and the return of Scott's alarm.
These are all great. They should just all be the title.
No.
I like Scott's eats like a duck. We got an
I
Alex
totally
and Neil
missed
theme
that one,
title
too.
last week, and I was I thought that was funny. I
The
don't
most simple one you can possibly think of.
whatever. It was funny.
Yeah, I got the rep. I was there. I got the rep. I'm
I
saying.
know it's funny. Mark also direct messaged me saying "Blue Eyes, LMAO." So
Oh god.
But he doesn't get a vote because he's not on the show.
we get it, Nabishin. You like Chie and you like Tally and you hate everyone else.
Could I hate anybody else?
Fun fact, under Tally's mask is just Chie.
Yeah, that was the twist the whole time.
Yep.
Who knew Tally?
Now
liked
she's like,
so
my
much?
dream come true.
Finally, it all makes sense. What is it counts from?
Tony just being adamant about saying it counts. It counts. It counts. When
What?
you were talking
Doesn't
about
count at all.
Oh, yeah, I remember now.
Blue Eyes White
The
Privilege.
Destiny thing.
Come on.
Yeah, Blue Eyes White
Doesn't
Privilege.
fucking
is really
count.
funny.
No, fuck you.
It counts.
Nope.
Counts. Blue Eyes White Privilege. Any contests to that? Contests?
I like you can gay fuck it.
Yeah, well, that's not gonna be the title.
Why don't we just put YCGFI?
WWG hentai. What would Greg hentai? That should just be the title of this show too. Scott.
Yeah, I don't really like any of these this week.
Haterade over here.
It counts, Scott.
God, Jesus. All right, Blue Eyes.
I
White
just,
Privilege.
I don't, it doesn't, but I don't like it as a title.
You're listening to Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 266.
Blue Eyes White Privilege.
Monsters.
And that's a wrap. You can stop recording. What is that sound?
Sounds like a drink to me.
It sounds like you're jerking off an empty Coke bottle.
No, it is a Starbucks cup that has had water in it, so it is very weak. So I have basically formed it into a goblet, and it has ice in it. So now I am manipulating the sides of the goblet to move the ice around in interesting ways to create
Thank
this
you for
great
watching,
sound
video
effect.
viewers. We love you all. Goodbye.
Well,